Oh yeah, that's right. I'm still in the spot I was in last time when I had to stop streaming because my internet completely went to hell.
Oh yeah, I forgot that that's what happened.
It was bullshit. All right. Well, I will just get right to. I think what we were doing last time. We were gonna do some more ancient debris mining. Rosinka, what's up? How's it going? Oh, I'm doing fantastic, Rosinka. Today was a good day. For many, many, many reasons. Oh, shit. I just angered the zombie pigmen. Oh my god, this sword is a one-hit kill sword for zombie pigmen now because it's netherite.
Oh, nice.
Oh my god, I'm fucking wrecking these fools. Holy shit. I was like all scared at first, and then every single one just went out in one hit. Even the little babies. Oh. I'm just gonna stand here for a minute and let the zombie pigman cooldown timer elapse. Yeah, today was a great day. Obviously, getting some really good news on the election was great. We went fishing.
After 4 days of waiting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the very least, we were all prepared for it. We knew with the COVID, and it was good to see that we had an election during COVID, and we were able to maneuver through that. And the numbers are scary as shit, though. Like, I guess a new wave of lockdowns is hitting everywhere now. Hit, I think yesterday had like 115,000 new cases in a single day, which of course is another record. The worst kinds of records to be breaking. But despite what some may say, it's good to see that we can still hold an election and have integrity as a country.
Integrity.
Integrity. Count the vote. Stop the vote. I'm waiting for a South Park episode. Like did they do an election episode yet for this one?
No, they did a quarantine one that was just absolutely hysterical.
I have to imagine they're gonna do Biden Trump. Like that's been like a hallmark of South Park is their election day episodes.
Giant douche and turd sandwich.
Wait, that's the. Well, I mean the one from years ago, right?
Yeah, but they've done 2 of them now.
Oh,
giant douche and turd sandwich.
Is that this year again? They brought giant douche and turd sandwich back again.
Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it was a toss-up between a giant douche and a turd sandwich.
I would characterize it slightly differently. I would categorize it more as a toss-up between a hybrid giant douche turd sandwich horrific creature and a dude that's pretty old.
I like the giant douche turd sandwich better.
Yeah. That was 2004, right? That was Kerry v. Bush was the first one, if I remember right.
No, giant douche and turd sandwich was. I think that was. Oh God, I want to say it was what's his face, John McCain.
Nope, it was not
No.
McCain and Obama because that was the heist episode.
Yeah, I don't remember.
No, it was definitely John Kerry versus George Bush because that was 2004. That would have been like season 8 because they started in '96.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't remember when they did the giant douche turd sandwich episode.
No, I'm telling you, it's 2004. Mark my words.
Okay.
It has to be. Because, I mean, like, I distinctly remember, like, those two candidates. Because, like, nobody liked George Bush. He... very many Bushisms came out of that era. And John Kerry wasn't exactly a shining beacon of hope either. And then in retrospect, like, his vice presidential candidate being John Edwards. And, oh, man, the horrible fucked up shit he ended up doing in the years after. Like he fathered an illegitimate child while his wife was dying of cancer.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
I thought it was Gore. It was Al Gore.
No, it was not Al Gore. That was 2000. I don't think they were really. That was too early. We'll have to look it up. But, yeah, in more exciting news, we went fishing this morning. Me and Nolan went fishing, and Matt ended up joining us. It was a great time. Beautiful day out, and Nolan caught his first ever fish, all by himself. He put the bait on the hook, he cast the line, and he reeled in the fish all by himself. I could not be prouder.
Yeah, your reaction was pretty priceless.
That's what I'm saying, man. I live for my kids. When they do that shit, it's like I'm more excited than if I accomplish something like that. Because it's like, holy shit, these little humans that I made are doing amazing things. They're catching fish now. A few dangerous casts there. One that went like right over my head.
I'm lucky it ducked.
Yeah, but I mean, for him, literally trying for the first time today and not having one of those easy reels with the button that you just hold and release. He had to actually do it the real way. He got it pretty good. So yeah, I think we're probably going to go fishing again next weekend. Oh, what's up, Retro Tricks? LD Trickster? And then yeah, I was telling Matt we were watching some Lord of the Rings tonight, trying to get... There's like certain movies that I think are mandatory viewing for all people, and the Lord of the Rings movies are definitely in that category. It's like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. It's just like whether you think the movies are good or not, like they just have such a huge impact on like pop culture. I mean that You Shall Not Pass, like he finally got to see that, and I guarantee you my kids have seen that phrase being used dozens of times in cartoons and shows and kind of sad that we've started losing some of the actors from Lord of the Rings. Like Christopher Lee, he died like 4 or 5 years, maybe more than that. At least 5 years ago. Oh, sweet, I got some ancient debris. And then, what's his name? Who played Bilbo? He died like just... I think he died this year.
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
God, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Oh, why can't I remember it? He was in The Fifth Element.
He was in the... Oh, that's right, he was. Holy shit, I didn't even realize that.
Yep, he's in The Fifth Element. He's in a ton of movies. He was in Garden State, that Zach Braff movie. He was in Day After Tomorrow. He was like the climatologist, one of the climatologists in the movie Day After Tomorrow with Dennis Quaid.
God, dude, I didn't even recognize him.
It's gonna drive me crazy that I can't remember his name. It's like Ian McDermott or something, or...
It sounds familiar.
It's probably not.
I'll be hopping onto here just a second.
Ian Holmes? Ian Holmes? That sounds right. Yeah, Rosinka? Yes, I think you guys are right. I knew it was Ian something, but it was tripping me up because we also have Ian McKellen. Lots of Ians in Lord of the Rings. I gotta say, too, like, you know, nobody ever really talks about this, but watching these movies... I've seen the movies a ton of times, but just watching them again, you know, as a slightly older feller with a little more perspective, Elijah Wood gave a really good performance in those movies. Like, that kid can act. Well, he's not a kid anymore, but... Awesome. Well, thank you, Trix.
I am probing you.
Oh, God.
Okay. Looks like it's connected.
Don't probe me, bro.
1.16.3.
Yep. So, yeah, you should just be able to run the same Optifine that you've been running, and no changes since last time. And then, yeah, of course, I played a bunch more Breath of the Wild today. That was what Isla wanted me to do before I streamed. I'm playing... I started a master mode file. And definitely gives a lot of replayability to the game. Are you familiar with master mode in Breath of the Wild, Matt?
You were telling me about it today.
So... it is more difficult. So when you start the game, not just when you start the game, throughout the entire game, every enemy is one rank higher than they are in the default game. So there are no red bokoblins or red moblins or the, you know, regular Lizalfos. Like, they all start out as their first upgraded version. So, like, when you're on the Great Plateau... Oh, and there's a Lionel on the Great Plateau, too. So... when you're going around getting your first couple runes and doing the intro area, there's totally a Lionel you can stumble across and get murdered by. But but yeah, so that's one piece. The other one is that enemies regain their health. So after you damage them, after a couple of seconds, their health bar will flash and they'll start to regain their health. So you have to be a lot more aggressive and you have to commit a lot more if you're gonna like start a battle. And it does it fast enough that you can't use some of the strategies you might have used if you had shitty weapons before, like where you could just run around dropping bombs and stuff. Oh, more ancient debris. Hell yeah. Because they just regenerate. Their health regenerates too fast. I found 2 more ancient debris. Oh my god. We're doing good. Damn, striking gold here. I might have... Well, actually, yeah, just from these, I have 4... Or no, I have 3 here. Let's see if I have another one back at our little hut. Are you down here in the mining area? Okay. I think that's the side that like a bunch of lava lakes are over, so you'll probably run into lava pretty frequently.
Yep.
So anyways, yeah, there's those. Jeffrey Palmer. Who's Jeffrey Palmer? 93. Yeah, you know, when someone lives to 93, you know, it's still sad when they die, but there's a sense of like peace about it. Yeah, it's like, you know, damn. They lived they lived to a nice old age. Like, man, if only all of us could be so lucky.
Sean Connery just died.
Yeah, Sean Connery, man, that's the big one. Yeah, that dude is a legend.
Bond. James Bond.
I really like his Bond. I don't know if I like it the best though. I don't know, man. I guess I don't have like a super strong opinion on who the best James Bond is. Like, there are things I like about each one. I do think Daniel Craig has done a really good job, like as a sort of a reinvented Bond.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the next Bond's gonna go. There's been some talk about who the next James Bond is gonna be.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's a super old franchise now. Oh, nice. I do have 2 netherite scrap. Yes. Yes. Okay, so anyways, one of the other things, so I can finish this thought, on Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Master Mode is so yeah, all the enemies are upgraded, they regenerate health, and throughout the world, there's these floating platforms in all kinds of places that are held up by these I think they're called sky octoroks. So they're just like the octoroks you see in the water or in the forest, except for they are actually like they float up in the sky and they hold these platforms up, and there's either treasure chests or enemies on them. And they're in like all kinds of random locations. And
ooh, ancient debris.
Sweet. All right, do I have any?
Now, what do you need to mine it up?
Diamond
Silk
pickaxe.
touch.
Just diamond
Silk
pickaxe.
touch.
No, you don't.
I know,
need
but I
silk
was gonna
touch.
say, okay, but will silk touch? It'll keep it in block form, right? So I don't want that.
No, you're fine either way. It drops itself regardless of whether you have silk touch or not. Man, do I have any? Did I bring any coal down here or anything? I mean, I guess I can like. Let's see, Oh, no, we can't use that as fuel. Interesting. Okay, so let's try this then. Can I do... Alright, well, it turns out warped stems and the crimson stems cannot be smelted into charcoal like regular wood can. So... Well, I guess there's lots of lava, and I can probably just get some buckets. I guess got some buckets in here, right? Some iron.
I had to kill a pigman because he was firing his lasers at me. What the fuck?
He was firing pigman lasers.
Yeah, we have a Gaston.
I love our pet Striders in here. Strider! Alright, another rat scrap. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we go. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. Go ahead and put that there. And I'm going to upgrade my boots. Sweet. Now I have a full set of netherite gear minus my helmet. I'll need to get that one next. And then, yeah, then it's go through and get all these pickaxes upgraded to netherite pickaxes. Love that extra durability. I gotta say, with these netherite swords, with Smite 5 and everything, I wonder how quickly we'd take down a Wither now.
Probably pretty quick.
Rasinka said she played a little Red Dead Redemption 2 the other day.
Good game.
Yeah, and I've actually just started replaying it. I killed my old save file and started over since I just kind of only played it a little bit here and there and I've kind of forgotten everything, so I figured, you know what, I wasn't too far in. May as well start over, go through the tutorials again to tell me how to do it, because there's so much you can fucking do in that game. Like, it's hard to remember all the button combinations. It's like, oh, okay, hold right on the D-pad to open my satchel, and oh yeah, I gotta go to my horse and hold LB to pull weapons off my horse's saddle, my horse's saddlebags.
Yeah, I remember playing the game. I had quite a few of the legendary creatures killed.
Yeah, in my first save file, I remember I got to that quest that introduces you to that with the big crazy grizzly bear.
Yeah.
And I did kill that one. Like, right after it, I just went, hunted him down, and fucking murdered him. Oh, you're playing the Red Dead Redemption online? Are you not doing the single-player story, Rasinka? Yeah, I have no patience for online, like playing online games like that anymore unless I'm playing with friends. But I used to play Grand Theft Auto 5 a lot. I played so much of that online. I got every achievement in that game. That was when I platinum trophied.
I'm ready for Assassin's Creed Valhalla to come out one day.
How big is the world supposed to be in that one?
Pretty big.
So what's changed between Assassin's Creed Revelations, the last one I played, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla? Like, are they still doing the whole like Desmond has not come back, right? Like,
correct, but the Esbargo company is still around. So you're trying to recreate your past through the Esbargo, whatever it is.
Abstergo?
So whatever it's called.
I think it's a... Well, is there still the Templars versus the Assassins? Like, is that still the primary thing?
No. So in Odyssey, You were the granddaughter or grandson. You get to choose which sex you play as. Of Leonidas. So your like main weapon in that is the spear of Leonidas.
So you don't have the wrist blades, the blades that.
No, because you have his spear.
Okay.
Um,
Well, that's cool. I didn't know they covered Leonidas. So do you get to go like participate in the battle against the Persians and everything?
Yep, that's how it opens up.
The 300 battle.
Yep, that's how it opens.
That's cool.
Against Xerxes.
Yeah, Rasinka, definitely start the single player because they ease you into everything you need to know how to do. And the story's actually like pretty good. I am impressed with Rockstar's storytelling and world building and just the graphics and
yeah, for Red Dead, yeah, it's a good story.
It's just such a good like if you want that experience of playing a video game that is a Western. That game is like so Western. I mean, I don't even have a ridiculous fondness for Western movies. Like when I was a kid, I watched a lot of them, and you know, I would say I was a fan of Westerns. Loved Tombstone and Wyatt Earp and Quigley Down Under and all those types of things. And this game just nails it. Like every little detail, even the music. Like when you're riding with your posse, all on horseback. It'll just cut to a cinematic scene while you're riding through the wilderness and just start playing like spaghetti Western music. So yeah, I'm getting into it pretty good this time. I think I'm gonna be playing it pretty consistently until I beat it. And depending on how good the open world is, I may do what I do with all Rockstar games and 100% it. I love 100%ing open world games. Like just any excuse to keep me in the big open world, doing more and more and more. I'm all for it.
I would say if you like open world games and you like Red Dead, you would probably like the new Assassins.
Oh, I mean, I loved all the Assassin's Creeds I played. Don't get me wrong. The only reason I stopped playing them is it's so big of a list of games, and
right.
It's like as my time got more limited, I have to be more selective, and I was like, yeah, I've already played, 4 Assassin's Creed games. I think I get the gist of it. And then, Assassin's Creed 3 wasn't really super well received, and I was interested by Black Flag. I love the idea of pirates and all of that shit. But I just never got back into it. I was too busy playing shit like Right. I was too busy playing shit like Destiny and Overwatch and all of that back then.
And of course, with the whatchamacallit. What in the fuck? Fire. With the Valhalla, I'm pretty sure, with them fighting against the Christians, I'm sure the Templars are going to come up.
Yeah.
But on that one, you can like assemble a crew or a clan, and like you can raid like English towns and.
With other people?
No.
Or is this part of the single player game?
Single player. I don't think there's any multiplayer facet to it.
Oh, really?
Man, there's so much lava down here.
Well, the corner I'm digging in is pretty clean. If you want a good place to dig. Oh. sure.
Yeah, I got a large majority of Assassin's Creed Odyssey completed.
And I forget Origins too. Did you like Origins?
I did not.
Okay.
Was not a fan because I did Black Flag and it was so good. But Origins, it seems like I tried to improve on it and they did not do well.
Wait, I thought after Black Flag was Unity and then Syndicate.
No.
No, I'm pretty sure Assassin's Creed Unity was the one that came after Black Flag, and then Assassin's Creed Syndicate was after that, and then Origins.
All I remember is Black Flag, and then I went to Origins. So. Did
you ever play Unity or Syndicate?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah, I remember those two weren't as like well received. I didn't start to hear positive things about Assassin's Creed again until like Origins and Odyssey, because they kind of had a string of like they were just releasing them so frequently. It was like every year there was a new Assassin's Creed, and you know they were just kind of reskinning the same shit over and over. And
that's what Origins felt like.
Well, I really liked Revelations and Brotherhood. Those were good games. I did not like the whole weird story thing they did where you find out that humans there was a precursor race of advanced people, and
yep,
that literally that happened
they brought that back in
oh god,
in which one, Odyssey.
I just remember that happening in 3 games simultaneously. It seemed like Halo 4 did that with the didact and like, oh, the original humans, and oh, you're not the first advanced humans. There was a race before, and then they were extinctified, and then Mass Effect did it, and then Assassin's Creed did it. And it's like, oh no, these holy items are really advanced technological weapons from the precursor race, and fuck you, and
yeah, Odyssey did that where the Lost City of Atlantis is the precursor race.
Oh my god, that reminds me. I saw this random commercial, like watching a YouTube video, an ad came up for this channel called Gaia. And it's a channel full of like the really dumb kind of conspiracies, like people claiming that they're aliens from another planet and like how they've come to live on Earth, and people claiming Atlantis is real and here's where it is, and
oh god.
And like it's mixed in with just enough actual science to, you know, totally sucker people into, well, Atlantis, it was real underwater civilization, or it was a civilization that was flooded, and I can't blame people. Like, I'd love to believe in fairy tales too.
I blame people, absolutely. For being that dumb, I absolutely blame them.
Yeah. I do too. I gotta say, I sometimes am moderately tempted to just try to start my own religion and just see what happens. Like, people do that shit and it works.
Hey, you can get tax exempt status.
I know. The Church of No Taxes. Have it be like super straightforward. Just be like, oh, our religious doctrine calls for no taxes ever. And we have no other doctrine. That's our whole reason for existence, so make us tax exempt, please.
I had a severe migraine today, that's why I wasn't really talkative at the lake.
Oof. You
Yeah,
take
really
take
bad.
something for it? Did it get better?
Oh, I took a lot of things for it.
Oh. Yeah. That shit will really fuck you up.
Yep, it did. So that's why I wasn't really, like, super energetic. I was just, again, just excited about hanging out with you and Nolan.
Oh yeah. No worries. So we're supposed to get a little bit of snow on Monday. Things are going to start to cool down tomorrow, and
how much snow?
Let's see. Let me check real quick.
Because that's when Valhalla comes out at like 6 o'clock. Oh, here's some ancient debris.
Oh, what the hell? It's saying it's supposed to rain today. Yeah, snow showers, 50% chance. It looks like it's, as of right now, at least up here in Castle Rock, we're slated for it to start snowing Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. and snow through 9 p.m. So, yeah, maybe a couple inches. I don't know if it says, like, how much is anticipated exactly.
It's never right, but...
I gotta say, daylight savings has been a really weird thing. You know, this was our first time moving our clocks back. I can't believe how early it gets dark with the clock moved back an hour. Like, that's insanity. It's like 5:30 and it's completely dark out.
Yep. But I mean, it does matter. Because it was getting really dark much later. I mean, it was almost 9 o'clock there for a while when it was...
Right. Yeah, in the summer.
Yeah. It is a little bit nice in the fall because you gain an hour. So it's like, oh, God, it's so late. Why? I have like 3 hours before work.
I know. Yeah, last Sunday was cool because it was, all of our first time doing that. And, what's up, X-Blade Gaming? How's it going? The kids were, like, ecstatic. Like, whoa, what? We get an extra hour today?
Yeah, right. What is this?
But then, of course, like... You know, 9:30 hits and they're both crashing completely because they're, you know, in their like internal clocks it's 10:30 and it's super late and they're exhausted.
Yep. This netherite pickaxe has got some durability on it.
Yeah, it does, man.
I want a netherite hoe.
Me too. I'm glad they added some functionality to it, like it actually gathers leaves now.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, so yes, you can use shears still, but the hoe is like now the designated tool for leaves, so it'll mine them much more quickly.
Oh, did you see the thing about the fire spread?
No, what about it?
Wasn't there an update on that? Where it's harder for shit to catch on fire and spread from lightning strikes or something?
Oh, well no, it's the lightning rod, the new item.
Right.
Yeah, so you can craft a lightning rod with copper and divert it away from your buildings.
That's what we should put on our tree when we're done building it. Then we don't have to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they're already releasing snapshots. The first snapshot for the new update has already come out.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Like, they're just kicking ass on this. God damn it. It's fucking Enderman. Terrifying.
Yeah, I think once the lightning rod gets done, we can focus again on our tree. Maybe get some more branches put up and the leaves up.
Yeah.
Well, maybe once we get our netherite thing done. Our netherite adventure.
Yeah, I think here in a little bit I'm probably gonna switch to a different task. You know, just because I don't want to spend an entire night doing this again. But I do want to like chip away at it, and each time I play, I get a couple more netherite. And I at least got enough to get one upgrade already. So.
Yeah, I've got a couple blocks, but I don't have enough for an upgrade.
Oh so shit! I just found a block. I'm happy to share mine with you.
Okay, cool.
Just so that we can both. So I've got one here, and I've got another one back in the base. So I've got 2 total.
How many pieces do you have upgraded?
I have my chest, my pants, my boots, my sword, and one of my pickaxes upgraded.
Okay, so I don't have pants, and I don't have boots, but I've got all the other things upgraded.
Yeah, I literally just did my boots. Those were the ones I just went over and did when I got those few earlier tonight.
Get some netherite wings.
That'd be awesome. You should be able to do that.
Make it so you fly farther, like carbon fiber.
Oh yeah.
Like a super lightweight.
Make it so you can flap those wings. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not already fucking overrated with rockets and. Oh, here's a piece of netherite.
Sweet.
So I think that's 3 pieces. That is 3 pieces. So I think that'll do... How many ingots do you need per piece of gear?
4.
Okay, so I can't even do 1 yet.
Or no. I'm sorry. Ingots you only need 1, but you need 4 ancient debris along... Basically, you need to smelt the ancient debris into nether scraps.
So you need 4.
And you need, yeah, so 4 ancient debris becomes 4 nether scraps, and then you craft that with 4 gold to make 1 netherite ingot. And all you need is 1 ingot to upgrade an item in the smithing table. I was thinking if we want to try to make a little more progress on our tunnel, we could switch gears and go gather whatever materials we need to continue that.
Blue ice.
Yeah, we need blue ice. I think we probably need to go on another sand run to get more glass.
Do we really? Wow.
I don't know. I'll check. I've got a shulker box full of tunnel building materials. We'll see what I have.
I do know we need ice.
But I feel like that's a project that, you know, if we get back to it, I think we're on the verge. We'll be able to finish it within a reasonably short period of time. And of course, yeah, I would love to do some more mining under the tree, continue getting the stronghold dug out. If we got more TNT, we could do more blasting too, since... Yeah, we got a lot of that. A lot of space to do that now. Oh, sorry, what's up, X-Blade? Yeah, nothing much is new over here. Just, continuing to do my thing, and... If you missed any of the other things, playing a lot of Zelda Breath of the Wild, getting back into Red Dead Redemption a little bit. Watching movies and shows. Isla and I have been we've been watching more Bob's Burgers again. We are on season 9 now, so... And apparently they're still airing new episodes, so I think we're like 2 seasons away from being all caught up to the current episodes, and... Fucking love that show, man. Have you watched Bob's Burgers?
Me?
Matt? Yeah.
Yeah, not a fan.
Really?
Yeah, and see, I liked Archer, but I don't know.
Oh, is it? Are they made by the same people?
Yeah, same voices.
I never watched Archer.
Archer was good. I liked Archer.
How much Bob... Did you, like, start at season 1, or...?
Yeah. I finished a couple episodes. It's just... I don't know.
Yeah,
I like Archer better.
Yeah. Well, as I say with all shows, it seems like a universal truth, pretty much. Like, you got to get past the first season of a show to really, especially a long-running show, to really get into it. Not always the case. Like, there have been some that were like really, really good right from the first season.
Have you seen the new Mandalorian?
Nope, I still haven't even seen the 9th Star Wars movie. I need to see that.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
I don't have it. I need to buy it. I've got The Last
You haven't
Jedi.
seen
I've
Mandalorian?
I've seen none of the Mandalorian, and I'm gonna wait to see it until I've seen the 9th Star Wars, just
Why?
for posterity. And
Okay. You know it's not the same timeline, right?
I know it's when Yoda was a baby, so it's like 900 years ago or whatever.
No. It's right after the Return of the Jedi.
What? Mandalorian?
Yes.
Then how is Yoda a baby?
He's not. That's not Yoda.
Then why does everyone call him Baby Yoda?
Because it doesn't have a name, so they call it Baby Yoda.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yes.
Weird.
No, I'm not kidding you. I'm dead serious.
So wait, it's after Return of the Jedi, but before The Force Awakens?
Yes.
So like Luke Skywalker's out there?
Yes.
Is he in the show?
No.
Why? Or is it just supposed to be a different part of the universe and like he's irrelevant?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's irrelevant, but he's just not part of the universe. This focuses on a bounty hunter who's a Mandalorian, like Boba Fett was.
Well, right. So okay, so this is what's confused me because I'm going off of the Star Wars lore that I've picked up from an X-Blade Gaming says the Mandalorian is good. I've heard.
Yes.
I mean, that's what everyone says. So I have no doubt.
It's better than the movies,
but
by far.
Well, this is what confuses me. Is I played the BioWare, the Knights of the Old Republic, and then the Old Republic MMO. And my understanding was like the Mandalorian race was like a big deal back then, but like that they had supposedly gone extinct or something.
Correct.
And so, yeah, I guess when I heard that they were doing a Mandalorian show, it seemed to make sense naturally, and well, especially with all the Baby Yoda stuff. I was like, oh, naturally, this takes place hundreds of years before all the Star Wars movies, because that's when Mandalorians were around.
Well, no, they're pretty much in exile. There's hardly any of them left. So that he's one of the last remaining Mandalorians.
Wait, so how is Boba Fett a Mandalorian when he was a clone from his father Jango Fett? Or is that Jango Fett was a Mandalorian?
So there's some story behind that, right? So the question is number one, was he a true Mandalorian, or did he take the armor from a Mandalorian? That's question number one.
Okay.
Question number two is, so with a Mandalorian, they can never show their face to anyone else, or they can't put their armor back on. That's kind of like their creed. So because he has showed his face to get himself cloned, is he a true Mandalorian? And oh shit, that's a pig. And really, Boba Fett was a clone from Jango Fett. So.
Okay. All right, so remind me again, it's back on the Star Wars movies. Did you like the last Star Wars movie, the Rise of Skywalker?
Yes.
You did like it?
I did. It wasn't. I was not a fan of
The Last Jedi?
What? No. I was not a fan of the one where they offed Han Solo.
The Force Awakens.
Yeah, but they added some more story to it, and I don't know. It had a weird ending, but it was good. I recommend it, but I would recommend Mandalorian even more.
Yeah. No, I will watch it at some point. I mean, we have Disney Plus, and
good.
I really do. Well, and especially now that you're telling me it takes place after Return of the Jedi, I'm honestly just a little worried that they're going to tie some lore into some character from the new movies.
None.
No,
Zero.
Seems like something they would do.
Nope. It's more lore from the first 3 movies. Like you get to see like characters that were in the first 3 movies, or droids, or locations, or
You get to
and
see
they
Boba Fett escape from the Sarlacc, I assume.
No, but he is tied to the show somehow. Let me put it that way.
Okay. Well, because yeah, I remember
His
at
armor
least in
shows
books, and I forget.
Well,
Well,
his armor shows up.
Okay. Well, because I was gonna say, I remember, Disney basically said none of the books mean anything. We're retconning all of that, and we're creating our own universe. But
Nope, they didn't do that. They actually are following really good, close to the canon.
okay. Well, because I know in the books, they had a plot where Boba Fett escapes from the Sarlacc, and
Correct.
so I just assumed, especially if this takes place after Return of the Jedi, that would have to be some ground they cover.
It is, and they've kind of followed the books, kind of. Not all of it, but a majority of it. And I would definitely say they stick pretty true with canon.
Yeah.
And honestly, I like it more than the movies, because it adds so much more lore and story and characters. I don't know. And there's so many famous actors in the show, and it's done by Todd, what's his name? Favreau, the guy who directed Iron Man.
Oh, Jon Favreau?
Yeah, Jon Favreau.
God, that guy gets his hands on everything. He has a fucking cooking show, too.
Yeah.
Cooking with Jon Favreau.
He's done such a good job in that show. But it had the chick, the bodybuilder chick, the MMA fighter from Deadpool. She's in a couple episodes. It has I forget the guy's name, the black dude from Breaking Bad.
Oh, that plays Gus.
Yes. So
yeah,
he's in it.
I don't remember his name, but
it has Bill Burr in it.
Bill Burr, the comedian?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, it has oh god, what the hell's the guy's name? He was in Live Free or Die Hard.
Bruce Willis?
No, the bad guy.
I don't know. I didn't see that movie. I'm behind on a lot of stuff.
Awesome actor. It has Baby Yoda. And they did such a good job. Oh, and it's not a lot of... I mean, they're CGI, but they tried to rely more on animatronics and costume for the
like practical effects.
Yeah, they're trying to stay true to the Star Wars.
That's good.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. You will not... Watch episode 1, you won't be disappointed.
Later, X-Blade. Thanks for hanging out, man.
And they try to give it this, like, Western flair, with, like, the clanging of the spurs as he walks into the cantina, Okay. Because he's a badass bounty hunter. Like, dude, it's so well done.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I hear anything about Disney Plus, it's like, oh, The Mandalorian, they need to do more shows like that, because that's amazing, but
yeah, dude.
It's like the only thing worth having Disney Plus for, unless you want to watch the old Disney movies.
Yeah.
Which, of course, I've got 2 kids, so, like, they put Disney Plus on all the time. I actually got Isla to put on the Lion King the other day. And it was just, it reminded me, I wish Disney would go back to making actual animated cartoons instead of all CGI. Because, like, ever since, what was it, Tangled? I don't think they've done a single actual animated, like, hand-drawn animated movie since Tangled. Like, Frozen, Tangled, Wreck-It Ralph, like...
Here. 3 gas.
Yeah, I see them. Yeah, I would just love to see them go back to,
Well, I'm getting mobbed by...
Here, I'll help you.
Pig people.
Pig people. Pig people.
Dude, these guys are fucking me up.
Bad pig people.
Good God.
I want to get one more ancient debris. I've been digging around here. I'm going to just pick another spot.
So I got 6. I hit a big vein.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, I just want to get one more. It's like when I've gone this long without getting one, I feel like another one should be just around the corner.
Yeah, that's a gambler's fallacy.
I know. It's still at the slot machine. Oh, just one more.
Yeah. It's bound to come around. It's bound to pay out. But yeah, dude, I highly recommend Mandalorian. You can watch it without seeing the new movies, and it would not spoil a single thing. Highly, highly, highly recommend it.
Well, I'm trying to get the whole family, the wife and kids, to all agree to a Star Wars marathon and just watch all 9 movies. But maybe I should just go watch the last one myself and.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty good. Tearjerker. You have some questions there at the end. You're like,
I'm glad to hear you liked it, because I had heard like a lot of people really did not like The Rise of Skywalker, and like I don't know, people have very strong opinions about those movies, and like
it was weird. It did get weird in some parts, but I mean, compared to the first 3, like, those that we just don't speak of.
Yeah. I mean, I even enjoyed those when they came out, but yeah, rewatching them, they are pretty bad. Like, I can still sit there and watch them because they're Star Wars, and there's, as bad as they are, there's enough Star Warsiness to them that I'll still watch them. Yeah, fucking. Oh. But, the new movies, yeah, they definitely were a big step above the prequel trilogy. And so even though, I definitely had some problems with The Last Jedi, just the way things played out in that movie and the pacing, and it was just kind of a mess. I think J.J. Abrams did a way better job making Star Wars movies than Rian Johnson did.
Well, the last one is like, it definitely, god damn these fucking.
Well, and that was J.J. Abrams, right? He was at the helm on the Rise of Skywalker.
I don't remember, but
I'm pretty sure he came back for the third one, because
the ending was, I don't know, I can see why a lot of people wouldn't like it, because you're like, really, didn't we already fucking do this?
Well, yeah, and I've somehow not been spoiled on anything. I'm very good at not getting spoiled on things for years and years after. Just like the Avengers Infinity War. Like, I saw that well after it came out. Somehow had no idea that the snap happened, and so I was fortunate there. But it seems very clear to me that they're setting something up for some big redemption with Kylo Ren / Ben. Just given the turn of events and the way he seemed to have a really hard time killing his dad and his mom, like, I feel like it's going to be one of the, he was brainwashed and he was trying to fight it, but
yeah, I wouldn't bet on that.
Someone was in his head. Ugh.
I wouldn't bet much on that.
Well, good thing I'm not a betting man.
Like I said, it was weird, but I mean, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't as bad as the first one.
I like the first one, man. They literally did a greatest hits Star Wars movie, and I loved it.
Yeah, but they offed Han Solo in the shittiest way possible, and then tried to make up for it in the third movie.
I don't know. I thought it was fine. Harrison Ford wanted it, so I'm okay with it. He demanded it. He wanted Han Solo to be killed off in Return of the Jedi, so it's like, I feel like if you have a problem with it, you have to blame Harrison Ford.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell Connie that.
Why?
Her hero.
Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, he's great. I rewatched all the Indiana Jones movies like about 2 months ago. And I just forgot how, like, Harrison Ford was a one-of-a-kind actor, man. That dude was... Well, yeah, I mean, still is, I guess. But, there was that era where, like, he's just a charming motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, there's no other actor I can think of that quite like nailed that Harrison Ford charm. And I will never watch Solo, a Star Wars movie, just for the sheer fact that I'm sorry, that douchebag looking guy is not. He is not Harrison Ford.
Yeah, Connie won't watch it either because it's not Harrison Ford.
Like well, then me and her can agree on that for sure. Like, he just looks like such a douche. And it's hard to imagine him like doing Harrison Ford impressions and trying to make his face look like Harrison Ford. And like, I guess there's some good deep fake videos out there of people like deep faking young Harrison Ford's face onto, what's the guy's name? Eldon Eldritch or Alden something.
Yeah, I don't know. But after the first movie, the first Star Wars movie, the wife did not like, what's his face? The guy who played Kylo Ren.
Adam Driver.
Yeah, not a fan. Like, she hated his guts.
Oh, I love that guy, man. I think he's a great actor.
But then we started watching some of his other films, and then watched a interview where he talked about his service in the Marine Corps.
Yep, he was a former Marine. He gave a TED Talk, too.
No such thing as a former Marine.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. But,
Sweet, I got my ancient debris. 2 of them! Yes!
But, and then after we started watching, like, the Black Klansman, Black Klansman and, Logan Lucky, like, he's such a good actor.
Alright, well, I'm glad we can all agree on that, then.
Oh, yeah. Awesome actor.
Well, see, for me, he was, like, part of the reason why I liked the new Star Wars movie. You know, when I first saw The Force Awakens, I was like, oh, this is actually, like, a different kind of bad guy. I kind of liked the whole premise of, you know, he's just a confused dude. He wants to be badass like Darth Vader, but he's clearly not, and people remind him that he's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was
let's go turn our
dynamic I kind of liked. Yep, I'm done.
Because I have lots of materials to drop off, and I need
Yes, me too.
food. These stupid zombie,
Yeah.
stupid pigmen people are. Yep. Wife says hi.
Hey, what's up? Say hi for me.
He said hi.
Tell her thank you for letting you have the Jeep so you could come fishing with me today.
He says thank you for letting me borrow the Jeep so I could go fishing with him. She said nothing because it's my fucking Jeep. Uh-oh, she's throwing shit at me now. Oh, I gotta pay for her later, she says. Too many witnesses. Alright, so we gotta smelt these nether things down.
Yeah. I'm telling you, though, next time we go fishing, I want to take it seriously. I want to, like, let's try to be badass. Badass fishermen like that dude next to us. Just, like, walking out there with, like, all this gear. Like, he looked like Link from Breath of the Wild with all his gear attached to him.
But so, I mean, we gotta go to a different lake then. Because, I mean...
Alright.
You can't go to a lake like that and be serious. Cause,
that guy was pretty serious.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Like, he was also there with his family. Or no, he wasn't there with his family.
No, those are just random ass people. I'm sure he was annoyed. He's
do
like,
we have anything to smelt this netherite down?
Yep, go ahead and throw it in there. I've got 3 of mine in there.
Okay, so we have 9 in there now.
Yep, and then I've got 1 more in here. So you said you have 6 of your own?
Yeah, I threw them in there.
Okay, so since you have enough, I'm going to go ahead and combine mine 3 with mine and get 1 more upgrade here.
So are you going to contribute or no?
Contribute what?
To upgrading my gear or no? You gonna be
well, if you want 2 upgrades, I guess I can, yeah.
No, it's up to you, dude. I don't care.
Yeah, you know what? You probably are. It sounds like you're behind me by 1, so I'll let you. I will contribute.
Oh God. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I will pay you the troll toll.
The troll toll.
To get in my hole.
Good lord.
Have you watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I have, but I haven't watched all the seasons.
Okay, this is one I know for a fact you will love that show, and you might consider it one of the best and funniest shows you've ever seen.
I told you I've seen the.
But watch all of it, every single season.
Okay. I don't have that much time on my hands to.
Okay.
Watch 12 seasons.
Did you see the episode where they somehow end up like running a beauty pageant for children?
Yeah.
You did see that one?
Yeah.
And that weird Yankee Doodle like rendition and
shit.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think is the funniest show ever made. Like, just as far as, when you count up the number of episodes and the time and just the scenarios that you just can't help but bust out laughing to.
They have really good antics.
And they've done a great job at doing like incredibly offensive things, but somehow like not. They toe the line just safe enough that, they don't get too much shit for it.
Right.
All right, here. I'm giving you these 8 so you can upgrade 2 things, and I'm going to take the last 2.
Okay, so I use the blacksmithing gear.
Well, you need to get 8 gold ingots first. I'm going to convert all these gold nuggets. We have so much gold that we get in the nether now.
Okay, so 8 gold nuggets.
Gold ingots.
Oh, on the crafting table. Okay.
Ingots, not nuggets, right?
Yeah.
Just making sure you got the right thing.
And how do you do it again? 3 on the bottom?
No. You just start at the top left and start filling it up and do top row of netherite scraps, middle left netherite scrap, and then middle right is gold ingots, bottom left, bottom middle.
Right?
They fit together like Tetris pieces. Sort of.
Okay, so I've got the whole top row. And then on the second row, what is it?
Your last netherite ingot on the left. And then switch to gold. Gold ingot in the middle, gold ingot on the right, and then gold ingot on the bottom left, and gold ingot on the bottom middle.
Got it. Okay, netherite ingot. So I want to do my pants. And I've already got an axe. Should I do my helmet or my boots? Probably boots, huh?
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I did my boots, so all I have left is my helmet. And then, yeah, I kind of figured before I go upgrade my shovel and my axe, I'm going to upgrade all of my pickaxes first, because that's what I tend to go through more than anything, and that extra durability I think is going to be...
Actually, I think I'm going to upgrade my helm.
Okay.
It's because I want to see what the netherite helm looks like.
Alright, well, I'm going to remember to put these back in the ender chest.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Looks better than the diamond.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. I was just teasing you.
Yeah, that's fine. I know.
Quartz. I'm gonna take all this quartz if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it. I just crafted it all so that do what you will with it. Do we want to head over to our icebergs? Go on a journey? Do you need this black shulker box?
I'm sorry?
That's your black shulker box. I don't know if you want to... Okay. So while Matt is AFK, I'm gonna let's get some repairing happening.
I am ready to leave.
Oh, okay.
The wife says goodnight.
Good night!
Where are we putting magma cream?
Wherever you want. I don't think I have a dedicated
Throw
spot for it yet. Sorry, I'm just getting some of this.
Quartz.
Yeah, quartz just to repair my pickaxe a little bit more since it's so effective at repairing.
Yeah, I was gonna do that back in the overworld. Where the fuck did you go?
I'll be right there. I literally
Oh,
just got over another stack of nether quartz.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I see your nameplate. I just couldn't. There you are. Oh shit! I didn't realize we were that close to the tree biome thing.
Yep, that's why I picked this spot, just so that we'd have easy access to like a warped forest, and we're pretty close. You see there's a crimson forest over here on the other side too. So, yeah. Alright, ready for the overworld?
Yeah, we can work on tree, we can mine up the tree, or we can do ice.
I say ice. I want to get this tunnel done. I just, in the spirit of continuing to enjoy the new Nether update stuff, I would love to finish our tunnel and just kind of make this whole region more viable of a place to be in.
Did you, I didn't see any glass down there.
Oh yeah, I'll need it. No. When we get back to our base, I'll check that shulker box. And yeah, maybe as we're running through the tunnel, we'll take stock. I'm pretty sure all we need is glass, both panes and blocks.
We need lots of cobblestone for
the cobblestone slabs, and then the smooth stone. I think smooth stone slabs and I think smooth stone blocks.
I think so, but we can do a lot of those with the grinder.
Yeah.
The stone cutter. And then we'll do buttons when we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna need more glass. I mean, I forgot how much further it is to the tunnel.
But yeah, as far as the tunnel, the original concept of having that tunnel go from, nether portal to nether portal, like over to the woodland mansion, like we almost got the glass part to that nether portal.
Right. And then are we going to glass this section?
Yeah, I think so. We'll eventually, since this goes out to our little nether hut and our netherite or ancient debris mining area, I think it'd be nice to be able to take a boat on blue ice all the way down. And
Dude, I love this biome. This is my favorite biome.
And yeah, just having access to all of these different biomes. Very nice.
Let's do like a we should build like a little base or something, a little safe stop spot. Maybe we'll stop with signs or something at the Woodland Mansion portal.
Yeah.
So that way, blow past it. You can that'll be stop number 1. Oh, we gotta eat. And then you can go down this way to our, netherite farming. But then as they add updates to the nether, we can go north or south or, up or down.
Yeah.
From there, so we can branch off from that point.
Yeah, I'd love to get back, have a good building session again. Whether we're building something in our bases or building some new stuff here.
I say we work on the tree, man. Once that next patch comes in, we can just, put up some lightning rods and I don't know how many lightning rods. We'll have to do some research as to, how many blocks it covers, like 32 block radius,
Yep. We'll have to get a lot more leaves too.
I do have to say I do like the fact that when we can actually shoot right by the portal here. So we'll have to figure out if we want the carts or if we want the boats to stop here. Probably, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, we could have this kind of come into a little station, and I mean, I like the idea of having some sort of a reasonable base at every nether portal, so that when we come through, like, you know, we can access supplies or whatever else we need.
Food.
Yep.
Have like a stack of bread at each station. I mean, we got plenty of wheat at the fucking base that shall not be named.
Yeah, we do.
Make
We have everything there. We could. I think baked potatoes is what we should do. Just eat nothing but baked potatoes, like Matt Damon in The Martian.
Oh wow, that gas stuff spawned right in here. Yeah, so it looks like it's smooth stone and.
Yep, smooth stone slabs. And, yeah.
Is it smooth stone slabs or cobblestone slabs?
Well, so on the top we have smooth stone blocks and smooth stone slabs, and then we have glass blocks and glass panes, and then on the bottom, when the floor we're on right now is temporary, obviously. So when we do the checkerboard pattern, it's going to be cobblestone slabs interspersed with the blue ice.
That's right. We should maybe do a blue ice run. And do we need pickaxe or a shovel for that? We need pickaxe, right?
Yeah, pickaxe. And it needs to be silk touch.
Okay. I mean, I still have some durability on my other pickaxes. America, fuck yeah. Got my shield.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
America. We did not elect Donald Trump, and if you don't like it, you can get out.
That is a pretty crazy statistic that he's, what, you said the 4th president ever to not be reelected?
I don't know if that's actually correct. I saw a meme today.
Well, I had heard that said on a news thing, like, but I was like thinking, well, ever really, or is it more in the last 100 years? Because that I could buy. But it's just like I can think of, you know, the other two. George H.W. Bush and Jimmy Carter, and those were just in the last 50 years. It seems hard to imagine there'd be no others. Or that there'd only be one other, like going all the way back to 1776.
Incumbent presidents who lost 10 times.
Okay. That seems a little more reasonable. Or more believable, rather.
Let's see, who do we got here? How many U.S. presidents have lost a re-election? 10, yeah.
Oh man, and they were showing some old electoral maps. Like when Reagan beat Carter. And like it was like 400 plus electoral votes. I'm kind of a little bit sad that we didn't get that kind of margin, cuz like I mean, yeah, other presidents have been unpopular and have lost, like, by almost a unanimous, like, almost every single state, and yet, you know, we have this situation, and it was as close as it was, but you know what? A win's a win. I'm not gonna split hairs over it.
George W. Bush, Jimmy Carter, Gerald Ford.
Oh, Gerald Ford, of course.
Hoover, Taft, Grover Cleveland, Martin Van Buren.
I'm related to Martin Van Buren.
Cool.
That's my grandmother's maiden name.
John Quincy Adams and John Adams. Where did you go? Sorry, I was being attacked.
Oh, I'm just heading back to our base.
Okay.
Sky Island, I guess, first. Okay. Wait, do we need to go to Sky Island?
I
guess we could go
work on the tree and the ice, yeah.
Well, the ice, we need to go to the base that shall not be named.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we fly east of the base over to our little iceberg area. Yeah, let's do that.
Remember.
I always like going back to this base just because we have so much here. Access to like every type of farm, and got all my villagers with all the mending books, and
I'm just glad that Betsy DeVos is gone.
yeah.
That's one lady who I'm just glad is bye-bye.
I worry a little bit. I'm pretty up to date on how the three branches of government work, but I did not realize that the Senate had to approve cabinet appointees. And I'm a little bit worried about Mitch McConnell with his track record of fucking stonewalling everything.
Well, but that's how Trump's gotten around the cabinet member pick, is he just appoints them as temporary.
Well, no, I'm saying with Biden. Like when Biden, if he's going to try to get his cabinet and get the people he wants, but Mitch McConnell has the final say, I'm just a little bit worried about.
No.
But,
some people are going to have to cross over the aisle, as it should be.
Yeah, maybe Susan Collins will take her role a little more seriously now. She's supposed to be the moderate one that, she was the only one that abstained.
Grab a minecart.
Yep, I got one.
Okay.
She was the only one that abstained from voting for Amy Coney Barrett.
Yeah, again, you're going to have... And really, you got to remember, we got a Senate race coming up. A very, very expensive Senate race.
In Georgia, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I cannot believe Georgia is the center of the universe, or the center of the world right now.
But see, that's what happens when you have an electoral college, and that's how it should be. Otherwise, everyone's just going to pay attention to New York and California. But now Georgia has a say in determining the next president and the power of the government.
Well, you could kind of argue the opposite too, And in a way, you could say, well, because of that, no candidates are ever going to campaign in Middle America, in Kansas and Kentucky, and so it's
but they do.
Yeah.
But they do because it could win or as you can see from this election, had he not had a campaign in Georgia and Arizona and some of these states that have, don't have 50 electoral college votes like California and New York, he might have won.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm sure one of the things that'll come up in the autopsy is one thing Trump was a mastermind at was his rallies and his ground game was pretty good.
He actually got a lot of Latinos to vote for him too. I'm really going to be interested to see the...
Well, so what I think he proved is that, Latinos are not a monolith. And the big, I think, eye-opener there is like in a place like Florida, you have a lot of Cuban Americans and Puerto Ricans, and the issues they care about are a lot different than the issues Mexican Americans care about. So like you see Arizona goes overwhelmingly for Biden. Or not overwhelmingly, but the Latinos in Arizona favored Biden, but because Cuban Americans are going to be a little fearful of communism and socialism, and they're hearing, oh, the Democrats want to they want to be socialist.
But
and
you also have to remember, like, building a wall doesn't mean shit to them because they're not Mexican, number one.
Exactly.
And number two, they got here legally, most of them, right? They weren't illegal immigrants. They don't have to worry about illegal immigration. Most of them look down on illegal immigration. So,
yeah,
I don't know. It's
people are more complex than people give them credit for.
I'm very curious about the African American vote.
Well, they did not vote for Biden as strongly as they voted for Hillary Clinton.
That's very, very interesting to me.
But it was more black males. Apparently, Trump was able to capture more of the black male vote than he did 4 years ago. And like people have been trying to figure out
rhetoric.
Well, yeah, I think there is some of that. Like a lot of people just they hear so much from the left on oh, this person's racist and that person's racist, and I think a lot of regular people, that just at a certain point it starts to get old. And, maybe people are turned off by it, or, they're just not buying it. I think it's a nuanced argument. But I guess another argument was made that, like, Trump presents this image of, like, wealth and success, and there are just certain aspects to his persona that like, just do kind of resonate with at least a small percentage of black males. And I mean, you did have a few high-profile ones come out in support of Trump, like 50 Cent and not really Ice Cube. I think Ice Cube got a short shrift on
Kanye West.
Kanye West, yep. I mean, it is interesting because, man,
my American flag hanging from my barn. I've never been so proud.
Oh, I'm glad to hear you say that.
Absolutely, man. I told you. Everything will work out. Everything will be okay.
I would, I think it might be a good thing if maybe people take a second look at, identity politics and what role, and maybe how representative that is of the actual world. Because I think this election clearly proved that you can't easily put people into boxes and say everyone that is, like, that has these characteristics is going to think this way. And it's just clear that humans are a lot more complex than a lot of people give them credit for.
A lot of people have been asking about the how Trump supporters have responded after his loss.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them were upset, and rightfully so. Their candidate lost, but most of them, at least all the ones that I know, and it's probably over a dozen, they're just saying, well, yeah, he lost. We're kind of not surprised. We're bummed out about it, but we're gonna do better in 4 years, and that's really how it should be.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it's helping too that Biden, he clearly knows what's going on. He knows how sensitive the situation is, and I think he's been very careful and very strategic in what he's said in his speeches.
Yep.
He's off to a great start. If he can keep that tact up and keep up the image of hey, he's everyone's president.
Right.
I think that's what we need after 4 years of someone who's saying, like, I'm here for my people and my people only, and fuck the Democratic states, and no, I don't want to send aid to California for their wildfires because fuck them, they don't vote for me. I mean, it's going to be nice to see some of that.
It has been entertaining. Oh, there's lots of diamond here.
Yeah, I just get the sense that that's one thing we can almost all agree on. I think everybody wants to see both sides working together. Like, I don't think I've met a single person that is happy at the state of politics right now and the fact that Democrats and Republicans are these, like, diametrically opposed forces. I think we're all kind of ready for a little bit of compromise.
So we have 3 3/4 stacks of diamond. How many can I take over to Sky Island?
I mean, take half of it if you want.
2 stacks.
Oh, wait, to Sky Island?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking to, like, your base here.
No, for the temple.
Yeah, leave at least that much.
Half.
Wait, and what are we doing with the diamond?
Building the pyramid.
Damn, son. If you want any sea lanterns, by the way, feel free to take some. There's a lot in here.
I haven't built anything in so long. The sea oh, dude. I was just thinking the sea lanterns would look really cool inside the tree. Like
yeah.
How like canopy.
Well, but we also have the shroom lights too, like.
Oh yeah, the shroom lights. That would look better.
Well, just so what would look good against the the wooden oak. Well, I think the shroom lights.
The leaves, under the leaves, with that greenish blue hue.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Well, you know what? When we get back to our tree, I am feeling it. I think soon we got to do this tree. But first, so I'm taking out my my tunnel making thing here. And yeah, we definitely need blue ice. That's the main thing. I think we are going to need a lot more glass.
Where's the glass at?
I mean, I have some panes in here, but I think that's it. I'm pretty sure we like exhausted almost all of our glass. Cobblestone and smooth stone, we can easily, we have what we need for it. We just need to go through and smelt what we need to smelt. And
I'm gonna break some quartz blocks out here so I can repair. That one. I thought I had a diamond shovel with mending on it. Oh, I do. Does that one have mending? Yes. Anything else mending? Nope, I think it's it. Okay. So
all right. So I've got an ender chest with me. My silk touch pickaxe.
Okay. Well, I'm
gonna get my
gear at the moment. So.
Okay, I'm gonna get my wings back on. I'm gonna get my helmet back on. My non-gold helmet.
Wait, does this one have fortune on it?
All right, I'll just take a peek in a few places to see if we have any more sand or glass. I mean, I think the focus right now is on the packed ice / blue ice, but yeah, we have a bunch of stained glass here. Hey, Rasinka, welcome back.
Welcome back.
Oh yeah, that's right. Rasinka reminded us she's looking forward to candles, and that is another light source coming in the next update. Is fucking candles. That is gonna be so awesome.
Remind me what's so special about them again?
Just that they look amazing and they work like the sea pickles do, where you can like put them in little clusters up to 4 to
nice.
Get the various light levels. I really like that, having the ability to kind of fine tune your light level, and between those and then the blue torches and blue lanterns.
Yeah, it'll look better inside houses and buildings using candles and lanterns.
Man, I'm still waiting for them to come up with some kind of mechanic in this to make a whole area. And I think they should do it with beacons to make it so no mobs can spawn within a certain area. Like, without having to put torches everywhere, because, like...
Well, they do. It's the Mushroom Island.
Well, yeah. But, like, it's only, that's the only biome you can do that. I think it'd be great to set up a base, and the beacon is perfect, because, it's going to take time and effort to do it, so it's not like you can just easily break the game and make no enemies spawn anywhere, but it'd just be nice to have our whole base here, have no mob spawn, and be able to kill all the torches and actually have it look nice at night and not fucking lit up.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, so do you know what maps we need for this adventure?
I will tell you in a sec. I'm just checking a few places for sand.
I like the fact that I can fly and not have to worry about my frame rate dropping to 0. I still enjoy that. Oh, I have cake in my house. Yay, cake.
Let's check one last spot here. Okay, we have a little bit of sand. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this going now. We're gonna need more, but I'd rather us have some to work with. I've got about 9, 10, 11, 12 and a half stacks of sand, so that definitely gives us a fair bit to work with. Yeah, gives beeswax a purpose. Yeah, definitely, Rasinka.
Beeswax? Oh, is that what you make
for the candles? Yeah. It's awesome.
Should we sleep? Because of phantoms? I haven't seen any phantoms yet. Does your sleep timer start in the nether?
I'm pretty sure like the days are going, and yeah, probably do need to sleep.
Okay, I'll head to bed here.
Okay.
Yep, here they come. Here they come.
Okay, hold on. I'll do that shortly. I'm just getting all these buckets out so I can run down and get lava.
Well, there's phantoms flying around, so just FYI.
Okay. Oh, I was watching some Hermitcraft videos, and I saw it looked surprisingly effective. I saw Cub Fan fighting a wither just by flying around and like literally fighting it in the air, shooting arrows at it, and then just when it got low enough, just swooping in and hitting it with his sword and then swooping out. And he like never got hit by anything. I mean, you know, maybe a couple of wither skulls here and there. All right, I'm sleeping.
All right. Run into my bed.
So yeah, I think it kind of looks like it'd be fun to do that, like fight a wither, and both of us just fly around and like we're in the air dog fighting.
Aren't they bringing in chairs, or am I imagining things?
Chairs?
Yeah.
In Minecraft?
No, in Left 4 Dead. Yes, Minecraft.
I don't remember there being chairs. Maybe.
Oh. I could have swore fucking chairs were coming out. It's probably me smoking crack again.
Oh, I didn't know they did that. They had a mod. Well, I mean, it makes sense. In modded Minecraft, they'd have everything. But I guess they have a mega torch, which covers a 50 square block area.
Yeah, I was playing modded with Ben and his friends. And okay, so remind me again what I need to do to take the honey. I could just click on it, right? Like, I don't need anything special.
You need a bottle, an empty bottle.
For the honeycomb?
If you want the honey, you need to click on it when it's full with an empty bottle. If you want the honeycomb, you need to shear it with shears.
I can't use my hoe?
No. No hoe.
No hoe? Okay.
Okay, we're gonna have to make another trip. Only so much lava I can carry at once.
Where are you getting lava from? Down below?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a little lava pit area down here. And I'm sorry to hear your back is still fucked, Rasinka. I hope they're able to do something for it.
Is that from the same incident a while ago?
I'm assuming so.
Damn, that sucks.
Why do back injuries have to suck so much?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like there's just something about back pain. It's like when you fuck up your back, it's kind of the worst, some of the worst pain.
Yep.
It's not as bad as kidney stones, I can tell you that, but
kidney stones eventually go away. Back pain's like for life.
Right.
Not to downplay either one of them, I'm just saying that, you know. Should I go get some sand, or...?
No, I'm just filling up these smelters. I already got them loaded in. I just need to get the rest of this lava. So I'm making my last trip down, and then I will be ready to go. I'll just have to grab the maps.
I'm gonna check out our sea turtles here.
Oh, this is a different one, Rasinka. God damn. You gotta take care of yourself. You pushed down on a barrow at work and your back exploded?
Ooh, sounds like you had a herniated disc.
Ouch.
That's super painful. That's when your disc slips out and it like causes an inflammation in the muscle.
Yeah, Bridget. Well, when Bridget had her accident, she ended up with 6 herniated discs.
Oh.
So yeah, that was part of the long road to recovery after that. That was horrible.
Good lord, that sounds terrible. Alright, I was gonna plant some more seeds while I'm waiting.
Alright, got the lava. Just gotta go drop it off up here.
That's fine. I was gonna use my hoe for a little bit and hose some hose stuff.
Man, it's gonna be so fun when the Caves and Cliffs update hits, like finding a new area and going caving.
Yeah.
It's like I almost kind of have no desire to ever do any caving again until that update, because it's like like knowing what we're going to get, it just seems like is so lame right now.
Is it the hoe that you can turn the soil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to turn to soil, or the shovel if you want to turn it into like a path block.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Nope.
And yeah, so now with this latest update we're on, just to to be comprehensive, the hoe is the mining tool. Like, it'll mine things faster for leaves, for the mushroom, not the mushroom blocks in the nether, but the like the nether wart and the warped version of that.
I got my diamond hoe. Her name is Mercedes.
Wow, what a pretty name.
Yarp.
All right, these smelters are going. Let's get my map.
I'm just seeding right now, so give me a few minutes to do this.
Yeah, exactly, Rasinka. And luckily, me and Matt are at a point where it's like we don't really have any need to go caving. We have it. Our bases are developed enough that we can hold off on caving until the new updates. Or the new
Well,
update.
it's too bad the Mines of Moria. I don't know if we can go, if we'll be able to find, because that area is so explored.
Right, right. I mean, we'll still need to finish like carving out existing areas, but as far as like going to new unexplored caves just for the purpose of caving, fuck that. Wait, I'm waiting. All right, so we need map. Oh, number 290.
Yeah,
Map ID 290.
I got a couple more stacks of seeds here I want to get planted.
And then this is 29. 29 and 290. All right, I got them both.
Hang on, I still got more seeding to do.
Oh, awesome, Rosinka. I haven't even seen the patch notes for the new snapshot, so I wasn't sure, like, I don't even know which features they've implemented so far. I'm just flying around holding the map just in case it hasn't been updated with any of our latest.
Oh, did you? I don't know if you've seen the latest news, but Trump won another state.
Yeah? What state? Alaska?
State of denial.
Oh, I love it.
I thought that was a good joke.
That is a good joke.
I don't know how those blocks got wet. They're nowhere near water.
Unless
Maybe
there's
my character
water
like
underneath.
urinated on them. Maybe. See my progress?
Yeah. Awesome.
I don't think crops can catch fire. I think if they could...
Yeah, I don't think so. Oh, it's this water behind us. This big pool right here. This is the water. That's...
Wow, really? That close, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it'll get blocks saturated up to 5 blocks away or something like that.
Oh, no shit.
That's pretty good. All right, so Rasinkas, as he's had the full 2020 experience, Trump that is, got COVID-19, lost his job, and about to be evicted.
I saw that one. That's good.
Man, and you know, the bar was so low. Like, literally all he had to do was just not do what he did.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you see how close it was. Like, had he just been a little bit more of a decent human being and been like...
You're talking about a guy who bankrupted a casino. He bankrupted a casino. Like, literally, the house odds make it so you can't, like, lose money. Like, all you have to do is put money into it and just fucking wait.
No, it's really cathartic just to... Yeah.
Yeah,
just to have someone like that get their comeuppance. You know, I have had multiple people in my life that have been, you know, like true narcissists. And there's nothing, like my mother being one of them. I will happily admit that live on the air. There's just few things more satisfying than a narcissist just getting rejected and there being nothing they can do about it. God damn, our fish tank is awesome, by the way.
That was a pretty cool...
Like, I'm just swimming around in here, and just the turtles and the actual tropical fish. And it's actually, like, a really effective little aquarium.
Okay, so, I finished what I was doing. Let me grab some more food. Actually, I have some in my end chest, so... what maps do I need to grab?
29 and 290.
Okay, got them. Okay. Let's see, which maps do we want to start with? This one. Oh, I need rockets, actually. I are low on rockets.
Okay. And yeah, keep in mind I've got an ender chest on me, so if you need access to anything out of the ender chest, we will have that with us.
Where are my rockets at? I thought I had a chest just for rockets. Apparently, I don't have a chest for rockets. Wow, okay. Note to self. What is honeycomb doing in there? No. Honeycomb goes in there. I have a feeling that you're trolling me.
Me?
Putting random shit in chests that don't belong there.
Nope, I don't ever come in here.
Well, you should. Sad face.
Well,
right,
I'm in here now. I'm visiting.
A chest full of fireworks. Here we go.
Alright, I'm gonna head to the roof of the barn.
Okay, give me 1 second here. What else was I gonna do? Oh yeah, let me drop this gold off, and I will fly away with you.
Dear God, please turn me to a bird so I can fly far, far away from here.
Away. Yeah. Knew that was coming. Alright, so which map first?
29.
Looks like... Yep.
And we're gonna go due east.
All
right, I'm going down the runway. Running, and... I have launched.
You don't have your map out.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, there it goes.
And I'm switching back and forth. I didn't bother putting anything in my offhand. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Alright, I'm turning around a little bit because... Ah! Okay, that... Hold on, which one am I? Okay, I'm this one. The world stopped rendering and I was just in an empty void.
Yeah, same here.
Alright, well luckily we're just about there already.
Hello, village people.
Okay, and just around the corner here, iceberg right ahead. Alright, I think this is the big one we were carving out last time, if I remember right. Oh wait, no, it's this one up here.
Which one? The one with the torches?
Yeah.
Didn't we have like a fort with a bunch of chests in it?
No, we never did that. I mean, we just kind of temporarily put it on the outside here and...
Okay, so we need not fortune. Silk touch?
Actually, do we want to... Maybe we move to a different iceberg now.
Okay.
Oh look, there's still some
torches.
packed ice here. That's right, because we dug down... Yeah, I think we kind of got this one hollowed out as much as we could. So... Which way are you going?
I'm gonna head over to this one if it's not already.
Okay, let's do it.
There's a zombie here.
Thwack! Alright, just watch out for the creepers up on the top there. Hey, little spider. Looks like maybe you had already come in here and started this one at one point.
Yep. Yeah, I did actually. I
Okay.
cannot see it. God,
Perfect.
dang, here we go.
Oh, there's blue ice there. Nice. Alright, I want to get this blue ice first, but first, I got some housekeeping to do here. Yeah, let's break the floor and we'll replace it. We'll make a little cobblestone platform. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna keep getting... let's go down first this time.
Oh, can't see.
Nice, this is a healthy little patch of blue ice here.
Wait, does the torch melt the ice?
No, it only melts regular ice. Packed ice and blue ice should be totally fine.
I had to think about that. I was like, oh shit. So we might have enough for one blue ice.
Oh, we're gonna... This, I remember this going way faster than we expected it to last time, so I think we're gonna do all right.
Yeah, but we need a lot.
Well, we will get a lot. I mean, all the blue ice we've had so far came from pretty much just that one iceberg. I've already got 34 blue ice on me just from the direct blue ice that we already dug up.
Nice.
I keep telling myself when it comes to like streaming Minecraft, I really want to start trying to plan things out ahead of time. Like when I get online, like these are the 3 or 4 things we want to get done.
I don't know.
For some reason, I never can. Well, because more
ad hoc about it.
Oh, that's true. But just some days, like I'm not motivated enough, and I end up just fucking mining and just kind of doing boring shit. I don't know. I just wonder if sometimes it'd be nice to have a couple objectives.
I'm cool with just playing by ear.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Sometimes I'm in the mood for mining, sometimes I'm in the mood for building, you know?
Yeah.
Exploring other nights.
Well, I do think, yeah, for the next few sessions, it's, for me, definitely wanting to continue getting enough ancient debris to get everything updated. So I think that's going to be kind of a persistent thing for a little while at least. And then I want to finish the nether tunnel. And I think that's a big one that I just definitely want to get done.
Are you talking about for the blue ice?
Yeah. So what we're doing right now is perfect. Like this is one of the major things that I would really like to get done. And then the other one is finishing the tree and finishing digging out below the tree. Like I would consider those probably my top 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to this next glacier over.
You don't like this glacier?
No, we're getting down pretty low, and I just want to make use of our time because it's a lot faster when you can mine above ground with the ice.
Well, as long as you're standing on a block, even if it's underwater, you pretty much mine just as fast.
No,
it's if you're floating. So like if I sit here and I'm standing on a block underwater, it still is it tears through everything instantly.
Mine wasn't tearing through shit instantly. It was really slow. Still.
Well, maybe you were mining blue ice, which is slower.
Maybe.
Her. Alright, well I'm going to stick with this iceberg because I want to do what we did with the other one and completely hollow it out and you do you and I'll do me.
Well, this one's a small iceberg, so I'm already tearing through lots of it.
Awesome. I keep finding more patches of blue ice down here, so I love having a little shortcut. That's that much less that we have to actually craft. Wow, this iceberg actually has a lot of blue ice compared to the one before. Oh, this guy wants... Ha! Got a nautilus shell.
I thought ice floated.
It does. It should. Is it in like a downward current where it's being sucked down or something?
Might be.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna make a little. Platform here. We're gonna get the ender chest. Maybe some beds. Let's see. Sounds like the Navajo basically flipped Arizona. Really? Read somewhere that 89% of them turned out to vote and over 95% of them voted for Trump. Wait, what do you mean flipped Arizona? I thought Arizona was going to Biden.
It is going to Biden.
So the Navajo... Oh, voted for Biden, not for Trump. Gotcha. I was going to say, that's surprising. A Native American's voting for Trump. That feels slightly off.
I mean, it could happen, but...
Yeah, it certainly could. Again, people are complex. But, yeah.
I was going to say, Native Americans generally don't vote in elections, which is surprising. But this one, I think, because the mail-in ballot made it easier.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you make blue ice, packed ice, and then...
Yeah, here, I'm putting a crafting table right here. It's packed ice, all 9 squares. So... And then if you want to drop the blue ice when it's done in the blue shulker box, that is the tunnel making materials box. Nice, I've already got 3 stacks of blue ice here. Oops.
I need light. We don't have any sort of light source, do we?
I've got torches.
Underwater?
Oh. Yeah, I don't think I have anything. But yeah, definitely interesting Rosinka. Arizona and Georgia both going blue.
Georgia was the surprising one. Georgia was the one I was most shocked with. Arizona, it was kind of trending that way.
Yeah. You kind of saw that it was going to happen at some point.
But Georgia, I think, was the real surprise. And it wasn't by much. I mean, you gotta remember that's less than 1% in both of those states.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, and Trump is only 19,000 votes away now in Arizona. But apparently, yeah, the projections are standing, at least on Fox News. They're still calling it.
Yeah, because there's still votes need to be counted in Maricopa, which has been blue.
Well, no, I guess I've been watching it, and it's like complicated in Arizona because in Arizona they counted mail-in ballots first. Right. Then they counted day of ballots, and now this last batch that they're still finishing up is the late mail-in ballots.
Absentee ballots, yeah.
Well, that too, but they're late mail-in, which is like mail-in ballots that were delivered or dropped off on Election Day, which that particular batch is going more for Trump, and that's how he's been catching up. So it's kind of weird. But again, just hilarious that you have his supporters in Arizona saying, count the vote, count the vote.
And in Pennsylvania.
And in Pennsylvania, stop counting, stop counting. I mean, I'm just glad that, he won enough extra states that you just can't have it. I mean, you're going to probably still have some shenanigans going on with the lawyers and whatnot, but...
It's a moot point. Because, I mean, and Fox actually talked about it, like with the Bush Gore thing, like they were able to change 500 votes
Right.
after, and it took hundreds, not just a few, hundreds of lawyers and their support staff. So to get enough lawyers for 4 states, it's logistically and financially just impossible. You can't do it.
Well, and apparently, if Trump wants a recount in most of these states, he's gonna have to pay for it out of his own pocket, and we know that he's broke. And
well, his supporters are already said they'd pay for it.
Oh God, a GoFundMe.
Yeah, it's already happening.
That's sad. Just fucking give it up. Like, you're really gonna contest the vote in 5 states or whatever?
It's his legal right, so.
Yeah, well,
And everyone's like, well, we'll take it before the court. The thing is, and people need to understand, is the courts hate deciding on election stuff.
Yeah.
They try to stay away from it. So to have them flip 4 states, like, there's just no way Roberts or any of them would be like,
oh, yeah. No, the Supreme Court, their reputation would be tarnished forever. They would never be able to repair the damage done if they... Because Trump thinks he can just buy it off. Like, oh, I've got 3 Supreme Court justices. They'll do whatever I say.
Exactly.
Well, and he's under the mistaken belief that he can just have the Supreme Court rule. That's not how it fucking works. Like,
you have to have a reason to go, you have to have evidence.
Well, and it goes to, lower courts first, and, only under certain circumstances does anything end up in the Supreme Court. So it's like, yeah, with a lot of these lawsuits just basically being dismissed outright by other federal judges. I mean, yeah, there's, we could still end up seeing that happen, but it'd be hard to imagine.
No.
Yeah, it'd just be hard to imagine somehow him flipping the results in enough states.
They're not gonna do it.
Yeah. No, and I like to see people finally starting to back away. And I mean, yeah, unfortunately, if Lindsey Graham continues to, I wish that dude had been voted out because he is one of the slimiest ones of all. But he's one of the few Republicans actually still backing Trump and saying like, oh yes, we will support your legal efforts, and it's like, no, guys, stop.
But you have to understand that he's playing, it's just politics, right?
Oh, I know.
Like, he knows that the Trump base is huge, so he's got to show that he stands by, even though he knows it's a lost cause. But the fact that there were Democrats even tried to get him removed or tried to win in Texas is just...
You mean, South Carolina?
Yeah. Well, him and fucking trying to win in Texas. You're not going to fucking flip Texas blue. There's no goddamn way. Arizona
and Georgia going blue, and Texas has been trending. I mean, Texas has voted for Democrats before. It's just been like 30 years.
Yeah, that's a long shot. Like, you could spend your money elsewhere and do much better. Well,
yeah. I mean, again, a lesson in never believing polls. But if polls were to be believed, they could have been competitive in Texas. So, I think that's the big fatal flaw is people are going to need to look at where they're getting these polls from, who's conducting them, where's all this systemic polling error coming from.
I have a theory behind that.
I kind of do too.
That Trump supporters are weary of the deep state and the news media, the fake news, so they just don't conduct polls.
Well,
they don't participate.
Well, and I think when you think about the way they get data for polls, it's still largely coming from them calling people's phones. So they call. You get a phone call from someone. They say, "Hi, I'm from Opinion Research," or "I'm from Fox News, Fox News Polling," or whatever. And you have to get that person to answer and agree to take your poll. And I'm wondering if you think about the different types of people. Maybe Democrats or left-leaning people or whatever are not even left-leaning people, but people maybe there's a correlation between the types of people that'll answer their phone and give those people the time of day, and the types of people that are Trump supporters and would say, "Fuck no, I'm not answering my phone and dealing with this shit." Who knows? But I think the fact that that's still how they're conducting polls, they need to come up with new methods, because
polling's dead, and this definitely proved it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be. Well, this is what's really interesting. I think it was when Harry Truman was going up against, was it FDR? Anyway, there's this, you hear the term Gallup polls. Mm-hmm. And there used to be this thought that, like, oh, if we do a big enough poll, and they actually did this. This magazine did a poll where they got between 1 and 2 million people to respond to the poll. Like, they literally, the polls you see these days are like sampling 1,000 adults or whatever. No, this poll was over 1 million people. And so they said, because of such a large sample, our margin of error is like less than 0.1%. And everyone bought into it so much, they said, oh, this person, Harry Truman or whoever it was, is going to win in a landslide. There's no question. Like, this poll, it was just too good. And so all the newspapers printed their headlines and released the papers, and it ended up going the other way. And what they ended up finding was this was the first big discovery of how systemic errors work in polling. And the problem was that this poll was conducted by this magazine, and the only people that were reading this magazine or had access to it were a specific demographic of people, like wealthier white people in certain parts of the country. And so, like, that was like an instrumental.
I don't know how it's revolutionary. Like, how? Oh God.
Well, it used to be thought that, like, oh, if we can just poll, the accuracy of a poll is directly proportional to the number of people you get. There wasn't as much thought put into, like, well, making sure you get these various categories of people that, more of this type of people tend to lean this way on this. And
do you think people are honest in when they say I'm a so-and-so supporter?
I mean, I think most would be. I don't think there'd be much of an incentive to lie about that stuff, but I'm sure some people do.
The bipartisanness of it, a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, I'm a Trump supporter, and I hate Trump. Like, I wonder how many of those were actually Democrats.
Well, but
or Republicans doing the same thing.
Right. Well, anyway, after this historic polling error, it was like just a huge thing. And so I think somehow it was the Gallup polling. They basically pioneered the new method of polling that tried to eliminate the systemic issues. By eliminating the systemic error, you could get a more accurate poll with a far lower number of people. So if you made sure to sample people in poor rural areas and people in urban areas and white people and black people and male and female, and you build a statistical profile of how those people lean, and let's say you poll 1,000 of them, and what the distribution of those people are through census data, like in the United States, you can basically add a weighting to people's answers. So let's say in the sample group you get a lower than average number of black people, right? Like, black people are, say, 9 or 10% of our population. But let's say you conduct a poll where you only get like 3%. So they actually will weight it, and they'll say, well, this isn't totally representative of the population, so we're going to assign a little bit heavier weighting to these people's answers so that it, more fairly reflects, the actual population of the entire country. And it's been, up until the era of Trump, polling had been pretty accurate. Like, there were very few instances of polling errors that were like outside of the standard deviation or whatever, or outside of the, when they say this is accurate within plus or minus 4 points, that shit usually held. But in these last two elections, like, obviously all of that went down the toilet. Like, something has changed, and something has changed drastically. That has just, you literally can't you just can't believe it anymore.
It's fascinating.
It really is. Like, as someone who's like an engineer and, you know, I'm somewhat knowledgeable about probability and statistics, like, it's fascinating. Like, there's obviously a new type of systemic error that nobody's been able to pin down yet. And for all the smart people in the world, and for, we have AI now. You would think that you would think maybe they could train an AI to, you know, analyze this and maybe figure out what the polling error is, or... But yeah, those people are never going to live that down.
Nope.
The poll coming out of Wisconsin, like, you know, a week or two before the election, there's one that came out saying 17 point lead for Biden. He wins by 0.6%. The level of error, that is unfathomable.
Yep, it's been pretty incredible this past 4 years. But like I said, I think the majority of the people, you know, a lot of people have said there be civil war and riots and this, that, and the other thing, and it really hasn't materialized. You know, I think there's a strong base of supporters, but you know, they're just like, yeah, we lost. So, but like I said, I'm just glad it's over. We can go back to a boring C-SPAN.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, boring.
Yeah, I know,
we can each sit here with corncob pipes and be like, Matthew, let's discuss politics. How do you feel about a 15% flat tax? Well,
yeah, right. We can actually start discussing like real issues.
Yeah.
It's like the last thing we needed during a global pandemic is someone who's making the shit worse and stoking conspiracy theories. It's like,
yeah,
like it couldn't have. Back in my day, we were on the verge of civil war and annihilation.
But the QAnon conspiracy stuff, that is one that is really disturbing to me. Like that. I
think it's hilarious.
I don't think it's funny because, like, you had a dude show up at a pizza parlor armed and ready to storm the place thinking he was going to free enslaved children. And so that's when, for me, it goes from being like, haha, that's funny, to, oh, shit. Like, people, when you have something that wild and people believe it.
We got them locked up.
But, yeah, I mean, it's amazing how prevalent it is. Like, there are, I'm sure, millions upon millions of people that wholeheartedly believe everything about that. They believe that the Democrats are a satanic cabal. They believe that Donald Trump was a messiah sent from heaven to combat the evil Democrats. And, like...
Have you seen the lady who's Trump's spiritual advisor who speaks in tongues?
Oh, God. Oh, God. No.
It's pretty funny.
I didn't know that was still a thing. I thought people speaking in tongues was like late 90s and nobody did that shit anymore.
Have you met Trump supporters?
The funny thing is, they're always speaking in tongues. We just don't know it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's over. We can all relax.
I wonder what the Lincoln Project is going to do from here on out.
Australia can go back to their normal, boring programming. Nobody has to worry about our shitty politics anymore.
It's probably good, if you think about it, probably the best case scenario that we have just a really old guy as president now, because, well, and obviously Donald Trump was a really old guy too. I mean,
right.
He's 74. It's not like...
He's not going away, though. I think there's still be plenty to talk about. We're just going to have to take bets on how many years in prison each one's going to get.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm hoping there's some ultimate karmic justice where speaking of justice, where his Supreme Court justices, I'm hoping they reveal themselves to be, like, stand-up people who take their job very seriously, understand that, you know, they are the highest court in the land, and I don't know.
Of them do. Because there's been some court cases where that Gorsuch has
Right. But Brett Kavanaugh is like one that I'm a little more concerned about because he's kind of backed Trump on more
well. Hold
racy
on,
conspiracy things than I would have expected, like with the mail-in
but
voting and the fraud
but
stuff. Ugh.
wait, who? Brett Kavanaugh?
Yeah, he penned some kind of an op-ed or something that kind of was more or less a tacit endorsement of, Trump casting doubt on the validity of mail-in votes and how rife with fraud they're going to be. And
Well, okay, but I will say something in defense of the Supreme Court is that, a lot of people only see the decision, and they don't see number one, what were they actually deciding? Like the big one
Mhm.
that's coming up is, everyone's saying, well, the Supreme Court's going to get rid of your health care, right? Going to get rid of Obamacare. They're going to get rid of your health care, right? That's the big buzzword, right? But that's not what they're voting on, and people don't realize that it's what they're voting on is whether or not this law can stand on its own if you remove the tax requirement.
Right.
So I think they do a very good job. I wholeheartedly have my faith in them and their job to.
I
Isn't
don't
this
know.
great?
I
Isn't this
don't.
great?
I just don't.
Well, yeah.
I see too many cases. It's concerning to me how many high-profile cases go right down party lines. You've got your conservatives and your liberals, and the fact that, I mean, with very few exceptions, they
Well, can you name one?
name one what? Where
Name
it's,
one case where.
I mean, the
Right.
number of cases that have been 5-4 decisions. I
But
mean,
on
it's
what?
been a higher instance than it's ever been.
But you have to remember that there's two different schools of thought in law, right? There's strict
Yeah.
constructionists that Kavanaugh and Barrett and a lot of the conservatives are, and that one that I 100% support, not necessarily the candidates, but their methodology that Scalia championed, which basically says that what does the law actually say, and if there isn't a law for it, then
All right, well, I'll give you a big one. The right for gay people to get married. That went. I mean, of course, you have the one. Is it John Roberts or what? What's the one that like will sometimes side with Democrats, and that
so
was one of the cases
so
that he
here.
did.
But okay, so here's the thing, right? With something like gay marriage, trans rights, all of it, right? Take any liberal issue, right? The fact is there's not a law that says that that this should be this way, right? So rather than making a law that says that gay people should be married, there shouldn't be what is that conversion therapy stuff? There shouldn't be conversion therapy. So rather
Oh
than
yeah,
pass
yeah.
a law to say that it's illegal, they just say we just don't believe it's morally just, right? And
Right.
that's
Well,
not the
there is a
job.
certain arena where it's like, there are certain gray areas where, yeah, there's no laws, but it's like there are certain fundamental rights we are supposed to have as humans. And
But okay,
yeah.
that proves my point though, is because it's not in the Constitution and because it's not a law, it's the legislature's job to make a law to say what's morally right and not. It's not the court's job.
Well,
It's the
I
legislature's
mean,
job.
that's where it gets messy because obviously, as we've seen, um, law like the legislative branch is almost incapable of making laws anymore because of the way the
Right.
filibuster has been bastardized. And like the filibuster was hardly used like
But
through the first 2 centuries, and then they made certain procedural changes
right. But that's
to
the legislature's fault, not the Supreme Court's fault.
right. But I mean, that's it's the inevitable situation we're in. So it's like we're running out of ways for any progress to be made, and for us to continue to become a better society
But
because
but okay,
just
but so rather than having the Supreme Court make decisions for everybody, where we need to have the legislature do their fucking job and start passing these laws.
yeah.
Right?
I
It's
mean, I think
literally their
that's a
job,
component of it, but I just don't think that's the whole. I
but
don't know.
that's
I
literally strict
still
construction. But that's strict
yeah.
construction, right? Because if there's no law on it, then these strict constructionists like Barrett and Kavanaugh are going to say there's no law on it. It's not our job to decipher what's right or wrong or how America should be. It's your guys' job. So they're gonna shoot down any law that has some sort of moral component to it, unless it's like. No, I would actually 100% agree with that. Like Brown v. Board of Education, there's another good one, right? In which conservatives even nowadays will say, yeah, men include black people, right? That's a no-brainer, right? That anyone can get behind that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing that say anything about gay marriage, right? So the legislature, if they were to come out and say this is legal, right? The Supreme Court would literally just say it's legal. That's literally
I don't know. I don't know. I get what you're saying, but it feels sometimes that there's some more nefarious shit going on there, because it's like you think about some of these things, you think about abortion rights, and I don't know, the strategy of the conservatives to basically, completely block the Democrats when they're in power from being able to name a single judge, especially under Mitch McConnell.
Right.
And to then weaponize the courts to say, well, yeah, we're going to stonewall any legislation, and we're going to pack the courts with conservatives that are going to guarantee that the way we want our country to work is going to be the way it works, and it's the minority basically ruling the country. And yeah, we should be able to pass laws like that, but as long as the Republicans are in control, they're going to ensure that never happens, and they're going to ensure that the courts are full of people. They're gaming the system, is what I'm saying.
They're using the system how it was intended to be built, right?
I don't think the system was intended for a president to be completely blocked from appointing judges for an entire 2 years, which Mitch McConnell did. No, that's the Supreme Court. Mitch McConnell blocked Obama from naming a single federal judge for the entire last 2 years of his presidency, and that's some immoral shit.
Well, yeah, okay. Okay, let's say marijuana, okay? Sure. Is it moral, right? That's for each person to decide, right? If it's moral to be. But if the Supreme Court were to make the decision, is it illegal? Well, yeah, it's illegal. It doesn't matter what the states say, because the federal government has said it's illegal. That's how they're going to rule. But if the states legalize it, there's nothing in the Constitution that says it's legal or illegal. They're just going to say, well, if the federal court says it's legal, then it's legal. So that's kind of how strict constructionism is they look at the letter of the law, and if there is no law, they have to look at if there's a constitutional right that's being abridged. And if there is, then they're obviously going to step in. But if there's not, they're going to shoot it back down and say it's not a law. Get rid of it. And because like you're saying, like the Republicans don't want to.
But they are also, there's also legal precedent to look. It's not that simple. Like you have to consider a lot more than just, is there a law for it or not? Like Roe v. Wade. I mean,
they're going to shoot that down. That's going to 100% get shot down, and I'll tell you why. It's unfortunate, highly unfortunate, because it should be a no-brainer. But the fact that they have not passed a law to say that this is a thing...
And you know why they haven't? Because of the fucking filibuster. That's why. Well, that's exactly why. They were on the verge of passing a law. They had all the votes they needed, and it got fucking filibustered and shot down.
I honestly believe that if it was a law... and they were able to get past the filibuster, it would be able to stand. There would be no question from the Supreme Court. But the fact that there isn't becomes very problematic. And of course, as a strict constructionist, and if you try to do what you like, kind of what you're saying, like
I don't think there needs to be a law. I think you should be able to interpret the Bill of Rights, and like there's certain autonomy we have as people.
And that's
I don't know.
The problem right there. In law, there has to be. And that's what a strict construction is.
Yeah, but I'm saying there are existing laws that I think you could easily interpret to cover that kind of stuff.
And I think that they'll get shot down under the Supreme Court. All of them.
All of what?
Any law that says that, well, this is a fundamental human right, there shouldn't be a law on it. I think that if it were to go before the Supreme Court, it would get removed. Because that is how strict constructionism is. Is
Well,
if there's no
then,
law on it.
yeah.
If
Well,
there's no law on it, it's not their job to decide what's right or wrong for, American society. It's the legislature's job. And because the legislature said we're not going to vote on this, we'll let the Supreme Court decide, and they're going to say, well, there's no law on it, so
yeah, but I don't know. When you have the legislature gaming the system and
right.
configuring the courts in a certain way and blocking legislation,
Right.
I mean, you can say that all you want, but the bottom line is, it's a shitty situation. The courts are being weaponized. They're not fulfilling what their like true intended role is supposed to be.
What do you mean?
I mean, what I'm saying is the Republicans are basically using them as lawmakers because they're smart enough to know that, oh, we can block all legislation, we can configure the courts a certain way, and we can get everything ruled exactly the way we want it.
No, I wouldn't agree with you. I would say that they're not weaponizing the courts. They're just not allowing for any legislation that the courts know that if it was a law they would be able to get away with. Like again, like marijuana. Like if we were to legalize marijuana, right?
But they should also be looking at legal precedent. Legal precedent, I think, when you really look at it, like Roe v. Wade has been, a legal precedent for 50 years.
But did you know not all states even look at legal precedent?
Well, right, but I'm just saying legal precedent is usually a strong thing that's considered, and when you listen to the Supreme Court arguments, it's a huge part. And so, I don't know. I would hope that they weigh that in heavily, that, there is a very large body of legal precedent that a woman's right to choose whether she has a baby or not.
But there is no right. That's the problem. There's no law that says that it's a right, and there needs to be. That's the problem. That's where it's going to run into problems. Is they're going to say, well, it's not in the Constitution, and we've not passed any laws for it, so we really can't get behind this, or we really can't agree with you on this. Regardless if there's legal precedent or not, they've overturned legal precedent before.
I don't know. I just don't think it's that simple. I don't think these are just some wide-eyed innocent, like, oh, we're just textualists and we just take the law as is, because I think you can point to a lot of cases where, oh yeah, there are laws. The Affordable Care Act, that was signed into law. And what are they doing? Right. Oh, they're they're kind of shifting the way
but it's not a law anymore.
There is inconsistencies between the way that a lot of these justices rule from case to case that I think just blows that. I just don't think it's that simple. There's a lot of inconsistencies.
I don't agree with you. I think that if you look at what the cases are actually arguing, like the Affordable Care Act, since they removed the tax requirement from the Affordable Care Act, which is part of the law, the question now before the court is, if there's half a law, does the law still stand? So that's actually what they're going to be deciding on. Is if you remove the tax requirement, is it still a law?
And wait, how is that removed again?
They voted on it. When the Republicans had the majority, they voted to remove the tax requirement for the Affordable Care Act. So now the Supreme Court has to decide, if there is no tax requirement, which is a staple to the law, can the law stand on its own? So that's the question.
All right. Well, I think you have to admit that we have to have a balanced court. If you're going to have these textualists, and these are, you have a Republican Party gaming the system. They're blocking legislation. They're removing key parts of legislation and stacking the courts in a very specific way to achieve their objectives. I think to balance that out, you have to have, an equal number of people in the judiciary that, takes the other approach. You can't. You could not have a Supreme Court full of textualists. That would be fucking horrible.
But I disagree. I'm a textualist, and I 100% support the textualist agenda on the courts, because I think that the legislature needs to be the one making the laws, not the Supreme Court, not 9 people. It needs to be
right. Well, you're saying how things should work in an ideal world. And I'm telling you how things need to change to work in the fucking world we live in. That is the that's the way I make arguments. Is like, yeah, they should make laws. But guess what? They're not, and there's no sign that that's ever going to change.
But that's like, hey, this isn't working the way I want it to, so let's
I'd like to not see our country regress to removing rights people have enjoyed for 50 years. Like, I'm just saying, from a practical perspective, at the end of the day, we're moving in a bad direction if that shit starts happening. So whether or not you like that the judges, rule that way, the way the whole system is working is bringing us down. It's not making our country better. It's not.
But what's bringing us down is the fact that we're not making these laws, whether through Republican agenda or not, which it is. And that's the reason they don't want to vote on it, is because they know if it passes into law, they're pretty boned.
So right? Are you? It sounds like you're saying you would be in favor of Republicans being the ones that appoint all judges.
No, I just don't like judges voting on how they think the world should be. That needs to be the legislature's job. And all the Supreme Court needs to do is look at the specific letter of the law, and say, what is this law say?
Well, but I don't think, likewise, I don't think it's fair to say that the non-conservative judges, that's primarily how they rule. I mean, I think they are all looking at the same set of text and arriving at different conclusions, and that's the problem with, supposed textualism, is when you read words on paper, the way thoughts and ideas are communicated, it can still be interpreted different ways by different people. There's no denying that.
Right, I would agree with that.
And so textualism kind of starts to fall apart then when you say, like, I'm a textualist. How do you have two different textualists arrive at different conclusions on things? Like, there's...
Well, when they decided Roe v. Wade, there's nothing on paper. Not a single thing about women's rights. Which really shows how little we've progressed.
Yeah, the Equal Rights Amendment. That Equal Rights Amendment really needs to be passed, and it needed to be passed like 40 years ago.
Yeah, but again, that's my point, is because there is nothing on paper, like you just said, regarding those issues. Because there's nothing on paper, how are they supposed to vote? They're literally voting by their feelings, by how they think
that's not true.
It should be.
That's not true.
Well, I don't. I mean, if you could point to a piece of paper that says, like, "Hey, here's the law," or "Here's where," when they voted on Roe v. Wade, it was very much a, "Hey, yeah, absolutely, women should have rights on this thing because it's their bodies," which I absolutely agree.
I don't think it was quite as simple as that. I mean,
what
you're saying is basically like they're just using their feelings to just they're using law, they're looking at existing precedent, they are evaluating all of that stuff. But if there's a law that straight up, I don't know.
But there's nothing on women's rights. I mean, there's not a single Bill of Rights, there's no constitutional amendment, there's no federal law.
Yeah, well, I'll look some stuff up, but I've read a lot of opinions, a lot of dissenting opinions, a lot of concurrent opinions, and I don't think you're being very fair to the liberal justices to say that they only rule with their feelings. That is totally not fair.
I would agree that that's a little harsh. I don't think I mean like totally with their feelings. Like they're looking at other things like. I honestly don't remember the Roe v. Wade case and why they came to the conclusion. I'm sure it was probably under some sort of, some sort of equal rights and case precedent, But I think that because Scalia was really the one that championed this strict constructionism thing, which was, he wrote post Roe v. Wade. But he was very interesting, very Catholic, very conservative judge. He actually said something that was very interesting. He said that if there was a law that said that this is how it is, with abortion or women's rights or marijuana or you name it, right? He said, then I would agree that is their right. Well, he's actually in an interview saying, like, yes, I would agree that it is a woman's right if there was a law that said there was.
Well, and I'd say part of the other problem is that a lot of people in society are not adequately represented by the legislature. I mean, let's be real. Through most of our country's history, it has been old white men that have been making the laws. And to that effect, you know, the three branches of government are supposed to be a set of checks and balances. The Supreme Court does not exist to just, you know, basically do the legislature's bidding. They're there to provide a check on the legislature. They're there to, you know, if they're not doing their job, you know, same with the president. Each branch is supposed to provide a check on the other. And this situation we have now where you have the legislative branch basically, you know, gaming the other branch to basically back up and bolster. It's a bastardization of what, at least I feel, is a bastardization of the set of checks and balances that we're supposed to have as a country.
Yeah. Well, I think a woman's rights should be in the Bill of Rights. I think it should be
they've tried that, and that's the problem is they've tried. The Equal Rights Amendment is a thing. Like, even John Oliver did an episode on it. Like, they've been trying to get it passed forever, but there are, you know, and again, it's with the Senate. It gets back to this whole every state has 2 representatives, and so the Senate tends to lean more conservative. And with things like the filibuster, even if the Democrats gain a majority, they can never gain a super majority. Like, I mean, it's happened a few times. Like the first 2 years of...
Well, the filibuster is when they stand up there and talk until no one...
Nope, they've changed the procedural rules. They don't even have to stand up and talk anymore. All they have to do is motion that they intend to filibuster, and it effectively kills any bill that goes on the floor.
Well, I think if you... Okay, so I want to quickly cap up everything. That if, you know... I think you've got 2 big complaints, and they're both valid. One is that the Republicans aren't going to allow there to be any legislation being talked about on things that they don't like. But I think that having the Supreme Court then make the decision because the Senate can't get shit done is a terrible idea.
Well, that's not really quite how it works. It goes through a number of lower court. It only makes it up to the Supreme Court, you know, under those...
Right.
You know,
but I think if it's a federal law, I think the Supreme Court would say it's a law. It's, you know, there's no argument. I mean, even Scalia himself said if abortion was a law, I would say yeah, it's a law. There's no question. So
is there a law that says you can't murder people?
Yes, actually there is.
Okay.
That is an actual law. But you know what was interesting is Barrett. You know, she voted. She made a contextualist decision on a guy who had a felony, and he wanted to get his gun rights restored because he was a felon. However, he committed mail fraud. So the question then is, you know, what does the text say? And the text says if you're a felon, you know, that you can't own a firearm. But the argument is that when our founders created this law, they wanted to keep, and they pointed to, you know, many oral arguments and discussions from the legislature at the time that said their intent was to keep it from violent felons. So because the guy wasn't a violent felon, he was able to get his gun rights restored, which is a constitutional amendment, or a Bill of Rights, right? Second Amendment. So that he should have his gun rights restored, and I 100% agree with that.
Well,
you know?
I would say it is untenable for laws to exist that cover absolutely everything that would make its way to the court, and that's why I think, you know, you need to have justices that, again, they look at, you know, previous legal precedent. They look at things like, I don't know, our Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and what does it say in all of these things, and learn. And with things that come out of left field, there are some things that people, I'm sure, just would have never even fathomed to pass a law for. So I think there are cases where you look at, you know, try to categorize something, you know, find the similarities to, like, where it might say we have certain rights, and extrapolate to say, well, yes, this is naturally, like, if you look at the intent of, you know, what the First Amendment says, or, you know, the right for someone to not...
So I just looked up real quick the Roe v. Wade decision, and they basically argued under the 14th Amendment, which is the right to not be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law. So it was argued under that.
Yeah, and
that so
they didn't rule with their feelings is exactly what I'm fucking saying. They look at legal precedent, they look at the Constitution, and they say, right. I think textualists have way too narrow of a view to say, like, if there is not a law that explicitly spells this out to a T, it's too narrow-minded of a way to view.
It doesn't need to be to a T. Like a textualist would say, like, freedom of speech covers the internet, even though the internet was never like discussed when they originally got the idea. The intent behind the law when it was written was this, right? So they do look at what was the intent of the framers when they passed this law. Like if you were to be distracted driving, like let's say there's a distracted driving law, and the law says they don't want you on your cell phone, and you got a ticket for distracted driving by messing with your rear view mirror or whatever, right? You could argue, and I think a textualist would agree with you, that this law was intended to say this.
Oh wait, are you implying that all textualists come to the same conclusions from the text they read? Like, do you think that there are no democratic textualists? That's only a conservative thing?
I would hope that all textualists would come to the same conclusion. They should. This
is the argument. This is going to be the last point that I will make. Is
okay.
You're reading text.
Yeah.
Let's do some research. Let's do some homework.
But you also got to look at. So not only are they looking at the text when it was written, but they have to look at the intent behind the text when it was written.
Yeah, like the Second Amendment, how, the right to bear arms was really intended for a well-regulated militia and like that.
Right. So then
what are the textualists doing?
Right, but again, you have to look at what was the intent behind when they passed the law when it was written.
But let me finish.
Was it to give everybody a gun?
Let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
Let's do some homework. I'm going to say I am very confident that you're going to find many, many judges out there that would all call themselves textualists, that they read, they look at a case, they read the case, and but they come to different conclusions. And I think it's something that, like, I can inherently understand. Like, when I read something, the impression that I get, or the way I understand the way those words were framed, are largely, in a lot of cases, are going to be informed by my specific point of view, by the sets of values I have. So I think the way that I read certain words and the conclusions that I reach are naturally going to be different. So what I'm saying is, you have all these these conservatives on the Supreme Court that somehow always come to the same conclusion. I think it's less that they're all coming to that conclusion because the text, that point of view is so clear, and more that it's because they all come from, they're conservative leaning, and they tend to interpret things that way. I bet if you do some homework, you'll probably find that there are Democratic or whatever left-leaning judges that would call themselves textualists that would come to completely different conclusions. I just think there's no way to not bring your biases into.
But they shouldn't. That's my point.
They shouldn't.
They should not come to different conclusions.
They should. There's no way.
You should not come to a
words on paper. I'm telling you are. It is very, very easy for many different people to come away with many different impressions. Like language is not specific enough, and a lot of these laws have not been written in a precise enough way for it to be like bright and clear for every. And that's what I'm saying. I bet if we do some homework, you're going to find plenty of instances of people reading the same set of laws and coming up with wildly different conclusions.
As textualists?
Yeah, as textualists, like coming from that perspective.
So the only homework I would recommend, but it's too much, because it's a long book. Because I actually read a Scalia's work on, it's called Reading Law. Reading Law, I think is the name of the book. Where he it's a really, really good book. But he argues for the case of textualism, why it's important, how it should be interpreted. And I don't know, I just that resonated very much with me, and I think a lot of other conservative. Well, here's an interesting one. Why are conservatives more textualist than Democrats?
I don't know.
I just that textualism is more of a Republican-leaning idea than a Democratic one.
And I honestly, I think it's, I don't know. I'm just more skeptical of this. I think it's a label that they give themselves to make themselves sound more credible and to make it look like Democrats are just ruling with their feelings. I think the fact that the conservatives so often tend to line up right behind each other, taking the same exact stance on all the issues that a typical conservative would take, I think is just proof that, you know, each side is just kind of ruling with their biases. And there are some exceptions here and there. Like, it's John Roberts, right? He's the one that, you know, kind of tends to take different approaches. And
yeah, he's the Chief Justice.
Right. I just don't think it's that simple. And I think, taking Scalia's word as gospel, I mean, I just don't think he was that good of a justice. I don't think his opinion is worth more than any other justice's opinion. And, you know, he's one guy's building the case for his specific point of view. I don't think that inherently makes his point of view more valid than others.
Well, it's not his point of view, it's his method of thinking that was really revolutionary.
Well, but I also think there's just a lot of holes in that. And I'll just continue to go back. I can promise you people are going to come to different conclusions when they read the same set of words. Like, I don't know. Language is just not precise enough for everyone to read the same thing.
Well, yeah, again, that's why you have to look at the intent of the framers when they, or the legislature when they passed the law. Yeah. That's the other key piece is like if you look at how the legislature was thinking in some of the discussions, and then you look at how the actual language sits out. I don't know. I'm a textualist, and I 100% support textualism when it comes to law.
Well, but then again, there's also cases where there are laws for thing, and these textualists strike down these laws. And
like what? Name one.
Wasn't Citizens United one of those?
I don't remember. You know,
the one that allowed a lot of all that corporate money to enter politics, and I'm pretty sure there was a law preventing that. And they challenged that, and the conservatives, who should have been textualists and should have read the law and said, "Oh no, we have to uphold this law." You know, it just seems a little too convenient that.
I don't remember Citizens United, which is, it's come up so many times. I'm surprised I've actually never. Let's see, it was in 2010 that free speech clause prohibits the government from.
I think it's worth, I'll read some arguments in favor of textualism. I've read some stuff on it before, but there's also some very good arguments for why it's not necessarily the end all be all of.
I think it should be, but that's again my opinion.
Yeah.
They said that this would be a violation of the Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act, which are prohibited any corporation or labor union with 30 days. Anthony getting prohibitive.
And I mean, just the fact that there's the word, they are interpreting the law. By definition, if you are interpreting something, you are taking your perspective and saying this is how.
No, I totally disagree.
Then how do different people interpret laws in different ways?
Because you have to look. Because if they're looking at how the original people wrote the law, you could probably interpret it that says, oh, well, when they were talking about free speech, they weren't talking about the internet, right? That could be interpreted two different ways, right? But I definitely think that it does include the internet, right? Or the telephone, right? That's covered under protection of free speech.
But again, I think you can use your own perspective and your own set of values and your own upbringing to look at something and say, I interpret it this way because I don't think it's so easy for people to separate their biases, and I find it very fishy
I think that if you can't separate your bias on it, then you shouldn't rule on it, is my opinion. And I'm pretty sure that's how Scalia spoke when he was writing this book was that if you can't decipher what they were intending to write, or if there's no clear thing, then you shouldn't decide on it, or it shouldn't be a law, because they need to add more context to the law. Like we can't stick in our own. Oh, he probably would have done this. Like if it's not somewhat clear, or you can't glean some sort of insight as to what the thinking was there, and you have to input your own interpretation, I think you failed at the textualism part of it.
Well, I continue to find it fishy that the conservative justices would so consistently rule exactly how you would expect a conservative to rule. Like if they were truly textualists, there shouldn't be all these decisions that are coming down to 5-4 decisions, and the conservatives always taking the exact.
But it's exactly like you said it was. It's because the legislature has not been able to pass any bills on this.
I'm just saying. I don't think it's textualism that leads them to those conclusions. I think it's they are conservatives, and they're going to find a way to come to the conservative conclusion.
Nope. Totally disagree.
Well,
I think that that's a unfortunate bias and hatred and distrust for Republicans, which, granted, the last 4 years I can kind of see, but I don't think that just because they're conservative, they're going to vote conservative is a valid argument.
On every major issue they have.
Again, I don't agree with you.
All right. Well, give me some good examples where they haven't. I mean, with the exception of John Roberts. I mean, every major case that has been like Democrats are fighting for this and Republicans are fighting for that, the conservative justices line up.
Was gay marriage 5-4, or was that?
It was 5-4. It was John Roberts swung that way.
What was 5-4, 6-3?
I mean, the ones that they end up that aren't 5-4 usually aren't the politically charged ones, and there are some that they rule unanimous on.
Right.
But it's the major ones that are hugely political and.
Let's see here. I'm trying to think of.
I'm just saying there should be. If they were truly textualists, there should be more instances where.
There was one recently, like this year.
Right.
I gotta find out which one it was. Oh, and I think what's his face, Gorsuch, dissented.
Oh, hey, what's up, John?
Sorry, John. We're in the middle of not talking about the president. We're arguing about
the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Was it patent rights? No. Oh, here we go. I got a great one for you. Gorsuch disagreed with a church in Nevada that they have a right to freedom of religion over COVID mandates. Gorsuch dissented, 6-3.
Well, I mean, what else was there to like? Was it?
Was it what?
I guess. Well, right. There's going to be some of that, but that wasn't like a huge politically motivated thing. That was more of a.
That was pretty politically motivated, where the churches were saying that they shouldn't adhere to COVID lockdown because they're freedom of religion. I would think that would be a pretty charged political case, considering that church and freedom of religion and church rights is big on the conservative agenda. I just think that because of COVID and Trump, it didn't get a lot of attention, but I would definitely say that that's a charged case that a textualist dissented.
And is Clarence Thomas a textualist?
I don't know, actually.
Well, because then that's an example of exactly what I was talking about. If any of those other three are textualists, there you go. There's an example of multiple textualists looking at something and coming to different conclusions, which kind of blows that whole theory up.
Thomas has been around since before Scalia, I think.
Yeah, he's one I would love to see go. I do not think he's a very good Supreme Court justice. Of all of the Supreme Court justices, I think Clarence Thomas is the worst one. But I would be curious. I'm just saying. That's what I want to start seeing. Is like let's look at some cases, and let's look at which of these justices claim to be textualists and which aren't. And I'm curious how often they come to different conclusions. And if they are commonly coming to different conclusions, then it kind of starts to make that whole theory a lot more shaky, because it's like the whole premise behind that should be we should all come to the same conclusion because the text is clear and we should all read it the same way, right?
Well, the text may not be clear because they have to look at what the...
And then personal biases come in, and yeah, I mean...
But I think that, remember too, if you're going to look at the cases, you can't just say, well, they're conservative or textualists, they voted this down. You have to look at number one, what are they arguing? And number two, what did they actually say? Like, what was the actual decision, right? Did they just shoot it down because they didn't like it, or did they shoot it down because...
Well, separate from this whole argument, I think it's also worth pointing out that in the history of the United States, the Supreme Court has never been the political tool that it is today. Like, again, you look at Roe v. Wade, that was decided by a 7-2 vote.
Right.
And like we're in a bad place right now with the Supreme Court.
I disagree.
Compared to history, no. The number of cases that are decided 5-4 are at the highest level they have ever been. In no history, no previous Supreme Court have we ever had this many 5-4 decisions, which are falling right down party lines. It is happening more frequently and in a higher volume than has ever happened before.
I disagree with you.
I mean, look it up. It's a fact.
No, I don't doubt that it's a fact, but I disagree that the Supreme Court's in a bad place. I'd rather see the Supreme Court packed full of textualists than have it packed full of people who...
Again, I think that's a smokescreen. I'll do some research, and I just think that argument. I just don't think it's strong enough. I don't think
legislature should do their fucking job and pass laws.
Oh, I agree with you there, man. I agree with you there.
Because a true textualist would say, well, it's a law, and it's not breaking the Bill of Rights, so I have no choice but to sit on my hands. Then I would absolutely agree with you that, yeah, shit's biased.
But I still maintain you can have multiple textualists look at something and come to different conclusions.
Probably.
I'm just saying, if textualism was this pure thing, as Scalia would claim, then you should have everyone who claims to be that, they should read the same set of things and come to the exact same conclusion. And I'm telling you that is not the case.
Yeah, it's probably not the case, because if they're looking at the intent of the writers, there does add a little bit of subjectivity to it in that place. But if they're very clear about what the intent of the bill was, when they because let's say there's some gray area, like with the freedom of speech thing, like you're gonna have to say, okay, well, in 1800, right? What was, they obviously didn't think of the internet, but the intent was this, right? There absolutely, I think there's some subjectivity there, but I think that if you have to add in your subjectivity and not with the government and the lawmaker subjectivity to it, like if you got to say, well, I'm going to vote on this because this is how I feel and not how the people who wrote the bill, then you have failed as a textualist.
Well, I don't think Supreme Court justices are, I don't think that the Democrat, the ones, or the left-leaning justices, I don't think it's fair to say that they're just ruling based on their feelings. I think that they're using, very valid criteria to rule on these things.
Oh, absolutely. Don't get me wrong. Incredibly smart individuals. Like, if I lived to see 90, I still wouldn't be as smart as...
I wonder, has the Supreme Court made any rulings on gun rights? Or have they stayed far away from that?
They've stayed pretty far from it, but...
That'd be a great example of, like, oh, what was the original intent? And when you read it, like, what you have people arguing... Well, it's pretty clear what the gun rights were intended for in the Second Amendment. And what a lot of people would claim these days does not quite line up with that. I mean,
agree.
the whole keep and bear arms for a well-regulated militia, and
right, but they've decided what they mean by militia. The Supreme Court's already decided that. Right, that one's already been argued and proven. So you can't say, well, we're not a militia because we don't have uniforms on. And really, when you look back at when it was written, most of the militia didn't have uniforms then. It was to defend their nation and their neighbors should shit arise. So
yes, it is going around in circles, Russell. I mean, obviously, neither of us is going to budge on this one, but it's interesting to talk. Right. It's interesting to talk through, and I just, I think I've made my point.
And you're a liberal, and I don't know if you're a liberal, but you lean more left, I lean more right. It's just, it's refreshing to not talk about the president.
Yeah, this is a way better conversation than whatever Donald Trump is
arguing
doing.
About the things we should be arguing about, like the intent of the law and who the court should be, and being equally angry that the legislature isn't getting shit done. Like, this is how it was 4 years ago. This is how it should be again. And I'm sorry if we're boring everybody, but we enjoy talking.
Yeah, we're mining packed ice right now.
But we will definitely agree that we're both glad that Donald Trump is gone. Fuck that Cheeto dusty motherfucker. Ugh. I will stand behind you on that one.
Yeah. Well, I just, I still maintain. I think the root of the problem, when you really boil it down, is I have major issues with the way ever since 2014, when Mitch McConnell, became the lead senator, and he's such a great strategizer, whatever you want to call him.
He knows how to get people.
He's gaming the system to get his specific agenda through, and I have major problems with that. I think it's causing. But the Democrats have never done the shit that he's done. The blocking of judges.
That was pretty shitty.
And
I will agree with you on that one.
And then the hypocrisy with doing that, and then speeding Amy Coney Barrett through in 1 month.
That's politics. That's what he should.
I don't think it's fair to say that's politics. I think that's some corrupt ass Republicans that we need to start getting voted out so that party can regain some of their fucking credibility.
I disagree. I think it's politics 100%. It's ruthless politics, but it's politics. I bet you $1 million Nancy Pelosi and what's his face, Mitch McConnell, give each other white elephant gifts for Christmas.
Yeah,
like I really don't think that they hate each other as much as we hate them.
Yeah, I don't know. I just look at those things. It's like, okay, well, they strike down certain key parts of the law while simultaneously blocking judges to get their specific judges in so that they can get things ruled in their specific way. I mean,
that's politics,
I don't think it's fair to say that's politics. I think that's
it's frustrating.
But it's them not doing their job. Like, it's not their job to block judicial nominations. Like,
well,
nobody ever intended, in this system for the system to be gamed that way. And that is very much gaming the system. The Senate is supposed to.
He shouldn't have blocked it. He should have let them vote on it. I don't even know why he did that. Like, I'm still a little like, he should have just let them vote on it. Granted, Democrats would just be bitching about the fact that...
Well, I'm saying, I've read articles on it, like, Mitch McConnell made it very clear, like, his goal, his whole strategy was to get the Republican agenda pushed through by this very specific set of moves, striking down certain key parts of legislation, blocking judicial nominations for judges that wouldn't go along with his game plan. As soon as a Republican comes in, flooding the courts with a fresh batch of conservative justices,
but with the nomination,
that's corrupt. That is corrupt.
No, it's not. It
is.
Corrupt is doing something that's illegal.
Not necessarily. I think it's immoral. Or maybe if we're going to use the terms ethical and moral, maybe it's not unethical, but it's certainly immoral.
Whenever I think of politics, I definitely don't think of ethical or moral. I think that all politicians are sleazy, unethical.
I'm just saying the
immoral.
Democrats have never done that to the Republicans. Democrats had a majority. Democrats actually had a supermajority when George Bush was president in his last 2 years. They did not do that.
So I guess that with the judges, right? Like because he had a whatchamacallit, majority, right? Like, what I don't understand is why not just, if you have the majority, let the president, like, because I think they have to vote on it, right? Like the Senate has to vote on it.
I'm not sure. I don't know exactly how that works, but I know McConnell can block things from even coming to a vote.
Yeah,
and he has.
He should have at least let it come to a vote, so then he could say, Republicans have said no on this, right?
But you got right. This is really the problem. Like, where I think it's immoral is they are going against the will of the voters. Like, yeah, maybe they're doing what their specific voters in their jurisdiction wants. But when you think about the will of the people, there are a bunch of other people in Congress. There's a president. The American people voted these people in, and
right. But they stood behind him. All the Republican senators stood behind Mitch McConnell, and they had the majority there for the will of the people. So I think if you're going to use that argument, you would definitely say that Mitch McConnell was doing the will of the people.
I don't think the people gave them a mandate to literally do nothing, to block all legislation. That's not what voters are giving their senators a mandate for. They want them to do their fucking job, to pass legislation, to work with the other side. I think that's a major cop-out to say that they're doing the will of the voter.
Well, again, if you have the majority, right, you're doing what obviously is best for your party, but I mean,
that doesn't make it right, though.
No, absolutely. Neither side's right, because neither side is doing the will of the people then, right? Because we literally have a 50-50 country. So you're either going to piss half the people off or do right by the 50, or you know what I mean?
I'm just going to say, through most of our history, these types of conversations wouldn't happen. There's something fucked that's happened in the last 10 years or so.
I don't know what
this just did not happen. I'm serious. Like, read a history book. There have never been legislatures that have done this before.
You read a history book.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this shit is it's unprecedented.
What makes you think? Here, I'm gonna sleep. Is this bed?
Oh, I mean, we have to sleep at the same time. What's up, Hockey Life?
Oh, here, let me get my bed out. Here, let's go to sleep so we can reset these phantoms. Well, yeah, we can. I mean, I'm sure we're boring everybody on Twitter, or Discord, or whatever the fuck. Twitch. There we go.
Yeah.
But I think it's good conversation. I'd rather discuss this shit than the presidency, which I'm so glad is over. Yeah. But you gotta remember, I lean right. I'm gonna agree with a lot of the things the right does. Not all of them, though.
Yeah, well,
sorry.
I certainly have my issues with Democrats and some of the tactics they use, and
I have issues with the Republicans. And we just voted one out, so.
Yeah, I just think the fact that there's a concept of I don't know. I just go back to what's the intention? Like, how is our system supposed to work? What was originally intended? It was originally intended to be 3 branches of government that provided a set of checks and balances. The Senate was intended to pass legislation,
which they're not doing.
It's like when you really look at what's going on now, and people have gotten really smart, and they know how the laws were written, and how the Constitution works, and how they can game it, and how they can achieve very specific objectives. And I just feel like we're headed in the wrong direction with that kind of approach. And I hope to see in the coming years, maybe maybe everybody can just kind of wake up and say, wait, maybe we should work together. Maybe not everything needs to be
I'm
like
okay. I'm
polar,
definitely down with that.
diametrically opposed issues. Like, oh, you're Democrat, you take this stance on this, and Republicans will automatically take the opposite stance because
Right. That part pisses me off.
yeah, and then just the fact that that's started to bleed over into the courts.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I think the courts. I hope and pray.
I don't know. I think you're just using different language to describe the same thing, which is conservative justices typically lining up and voting one way on conservative issues. Not always, but typically.
I think it again. You got to name the case, and you got to name like, well, what are they arguing?
Right, and that's why I said I'll do some homework. But you look back in history. You didn't have you had 5-4 decisions before, but it wasn't the situation we have now where these Supreme Court cases are so politicized and are so frequently coming down to 5-4 decisions. And
I think there's a lot of 5-4 decisions.
Not historically, not as many as we've had.
Well, that's because we're kicking social issues to the fucking Supreme Court when we shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like the government needs to get their shit together and be like, gay marriage, okay, women's rights, a must,
Well, all right, I'll lay out the other layer of problems is when you have one party aligning itself with religion and using religion as the backbone to many of their arguments for why certain people shouldn't have certain rights, and I mean that's when it really starts to get messy too.
I agree with you there.
I mean, if the Republicans could ditch, and I think that's maybe another huge part of why we can't make progress is if you're going to have one side saying, well, we're going to use Christianity, or let's just say in general, like we're going to use Christian doctrine as the backbone for what stance we take on these things.
Yeah,
and then when you look at Christian,
it's like what happened over separation of church and state. Like
well,
that literally was like the first thing we said is there must be a separation between these two. But the textualists won't listen.
As always, I blame religion. Religion is always.
I blame religion too. I think that it's a terrible. I think religion is terrible.
I mean, I don't think we would be having these conversations if religion wasn't a factor. Like if Republicans, you take their stances on things and you remove the religious factor, and you take what's left.
We would still be arguing about these things because, like, one of our
not these specific things.
Okay, not the specific things, but like the textualism piece. I think that can be a non-religious, not even non-partisan, argument for or against, But I think that religion gums everything up. My mom, I had this argument with my mother the other day. She said that religion was like, is like "In God We Trust" is the motto of our country. And I was like, no.
That was added well after the fact.
1970 was "In God We Trust" added. It was "E Pluribus Unum."
And adding "Under God" to the Pledge of Allegiance, that was added well after the original Pledge of Allegiance was.
When was that added?
I don't remember the year, but it was a very long time after the Pledge of Allegiance.
1900s?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see religion out of politics. I think it does.
I mean, and that's really what it comes down to. Like the things that frustrate me, like why does anybody have an issue with gay rights? Like why do people have an issue with gay people getting married? Oh, that's right, because of religion.
I don't think marriage should be a fucking decision on the fucking government anyway. Like, I don't see why it's any of their fucking business.
Right. Well, exactly.
Like, man or woman, anyone. Like, why does it have to be a government thing? It should just be like a cleric, and they say you're now married, and you're done. Like, you shouldn't get tax breaks because you're married. Like, I don't know. It's just the whole idea is just dumb. Government shouldn't be involved in marriage. Period.
Yeah.
I think that whole piece is just stupid. Tax breaks for married couples? Why? What? Why? like, like I don't understand. Like to promote marriage,
I really don't understand.
that doesn't it didn't make any sense to me. Like if two like everyone should get the same fucking tax break, married or
Well,
not.
and there's not. I guess if both spouses are working, there isn't. I think a lot of those tax breaks go away, right? Like it's more the tax break is there, and I mean I can kind of see that. If especially when and this is true of straight marriage or gay marriage, right? Because you can both. Any married couple can raise children, whether they're their own biological children or adopted children. And when you think about the mechanics behind that, it's like, well, there is a very logical reason why one person would need to stay home and the other person would need to work. Like, you have to be able to make ends meet, but you also have to be able to raise children. And so you can kind of see why, okay, tax breaks kind of makes sense. It makes that more feasible. It makes it more feasible that people can put the time in they need to raise their children.
How many people live in your house? 3. How many people working? 1. How many children? 2. Tax breaks. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're married or not. Like how many
it is kind of weird.
It's stupid. It's just dumb as shit. It's like, oh, you're married, you get a tax break. Why? I didn't do anything special. Like getting married is just I don't know. It's a religious ceremony. That's all it is.
No, it's not religious. No, marriage. That's actually a very common fallacy. Marriage was not at all created by religions.
Really? I didn't know that.
It doesn't have any basis in religion. Like the actual process of getting married and all of that. A lot of people would claim so because they have religious weddings, but marriage in itself is not a religious institution.
It's just a promise to one another to love and keep and all that good stuff and be faithful.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I think it's more of a mechanical thing, not to make it less romantic, but
let's get real controversial here. But why wasn't it a religious thing? If why should you be able to marry 3 people? Right? Like a marriage is they've always said between 2 people. Why? Why 2? Why not 4? Why not 3?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there's stuff written on that. I can't say exactly.
It's got to be founded in religion, man.
I think. Well, no, it's not, because like it's an institution that's existed for like a very long time. It's popped up in like many different cultures. It's not a Christian thing. It's just kind of, it's almost like, I mean, I don't know. I would even argue in a certain sense, it's in a lot of ways, maybe it's kind of like there's some hardwiring, just like you think about different animals in the animal kingdom, right? You have some that actually mate for life. You have some species of animals that once they find their mate, they mate for life and they raise their child together, and so on and so forth. I mean, I don't know if this is true, but I would say it wouldn't surprise me if there's just some fundamental aspect to the way we evolved as mammals, that there was a hell of a lot of utility in, people coupling together. And, I'm sure a lot of it originally probably was in the interest of child rearing. If you have one person dedicated to raising one person dedicated to raising the child, and the other person, making sure a cougar isn't going to jump in the cave and murder them, and, going out and foraging, because, when you're like, let's talk, a long time ago where there wasn't formula and women had to actually like breastfeed, and that was the way you had to feed your baby. I can just see how over time these institutions would have naturally developed, because it just kind of made sense, like for our survival and for us to thrive. And yeah, religion came in and, religionified a lot of that shit at some point.
Well, I mean, it makes sense too, because if you have like This is, going, way back when caveman, when you needed one person to stay with the children and one to, go bring home food. If you have 5 children, you can't feed 5 children if you can barely feed,
Right.
because starvation was a thing. So maybe that's where it got adopted is, you only marriage one person, you marry.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's like just using just kind of thinking about it from a logical perspective. I would think that's probably why it arrived at like, just 2 people coupling and not 4 or 5.
I mean, but it makes sense too if it's, 2 men, 2 women, I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't work, especially if, you have the equal number of people bearing children and 2, and again, I'm talking cave people, I'm not talking modern day.
Right.
It's
an interesting thought experiment though. Like, there's some pretty strict laws against polygamy, and people get in a lot of trouble for that.
I think that if you can raise your children, then who fucking cares? Like, I don't know why there's laws against polygamy. Like, I don't get it. Why is the government involved in this?
I feel like there's a very good argument to be made against it. I'm just struggling to think of what it is right now.
I don't know. I think if they do it,
especially when it comes to consenting adults. But you could see how they could game the system, and you could have 50,000 people all married together paying no taxes because they've gamed the system.
Well, again, I think government shouldn't be involved in marriage and taxes. So
yeah,
I think it's
interesting.
Just dumb. But I don't think they're doing it for gaming the taxes. I think it's just their religious belief that they can, one guy can marry 5 women, and if they're cool with it, then, all the more power to them. Yeah. Or 5 women marry 1 guy, or, 1 woman marrying 5 guys. I don't think it fucking matters.
Yeah. Well,
but again, I agree. Religion should be out of politics.
Yeah. I think we agree more on the fundamental issues than we disagree. I mean,
yeah, I would say that.
Gay marriage should be legal, and I'm glad it is, and nobody should have a problem with that. And yeah, we both agree the Senate should get off their ass and
they should
make some laws, firm this stuff up, make sure it can never be questioned or litigated against in the future. Let's solidify these things. So give women.
That's all I'm saying is with gay marriage and women's rights. Don't just rely on the Supreme Court. Fucking make sure that shit sticks. Pass laws.
Dude,
change the Constitution.
I cannot tell you how much I have learned from John Oliver on this shit. He's done episodes on almost all the stuff we're talking about, and he goes so deep into that.
I like him, but he has a tendency to embellish and over-exaggerate on some things.
Well, no, but what I mean is with these issues, there are things that he's brought up that I didn't even know about, like the Equal Rights Amendment. That's been something that's been on the table that for whatever reason has still not been passed. I think it was blocked by a filibuster at one point. And, he's made in a number of episodes the same arguments we're making, that we need to start passing laws for these things. We need to start, and so he goes through the history of the attempts that have been made for those laws to be passed, and it's really, really frustrating. In so many cases, it's blocked by a filibuster. And when you look at the history of the filibuster, it was kind of a quirk of our early government. It wasn't intended to be used the way it is. It was just when they made that rule, it was if someone disagrees, they can get on the floor and debate this issue for as long as they want. It was never explicitly set up to be a thing where people could just block legislation by talking endlessly. And filibusters, originally you did have to get up there and talk. And so you see these records of the longest filibuster ever was I forget the guy's name that tried to block the civil rights bill, and he filibustered it for 23 hours or something. But it eventually got passed because he couldn't talk anymore. So there was a major procedural change made to filibusters, and this is what really started breaking things. is that no longer did you actually have to get up and talk. All you had to do was file a motion that you intended to filibuster, and that's it. You didn't even have to be present. Like, you could basically phone in a filibuster, and that's all you needed to do to kill a piece of legislation. And so that brought it to a point where the only way laws can get passed now is if you get a supermajority. You get 60% for certain types of laws, or 75% for certain others.
So 60% says that you can end a filibuster?
Right, you need a 60% vote to override a filibuster.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right, and then so you used to be able to filibuster judge appointments and Supreme Court justice appointments, but as soon as Donald Trump was elected president, Mitch McConnell changed the filibuster rules to make it so you couldn't filibuster Supreme Court appointments anymore.
Okay, but if he killed that, but so a simple majority can kill the filibuster rules?
No, so this is where it gets complicated. The Senate, when they start their session on January whatever,
they make the rules.
They make the new rules, and so that was, Mitch McConnell took that chance because the Democrats are guilty of this a little bit too. They made a procedural change to the filibuster a few years prior that made it so that you could not filibuster federal judge appointments, but you could still filibuster Supreme Court justice appointments. So Mitch McConnell just took the next step after Donald Trump was elected because, he held off Barack Obama's appointment for all that time. And he said, all right, we've held it off. We've got our president. Let's change the rules so that Democrats can't filibuster this. And now none of these judicial appointments can be filibustered, and we can ram all of these judges through. And so I think the logical argument is the filibuster needs to be removed. I think you can argue why it's useful, and yes, there are cases where the Democrats.
Are you suggesting we make a law on it, or are you suggesting that, like, as a procedural, that the Senate shouldn't do it anymore?
I think the Senate should update their rules to remove it entirely. And yes, it has ramifications for both sides because, when the Democrats are not in power, they lose that.
But they update their rules every new session. So it would just change the next session. So we should make it a law.
Yeah, and that's where it gets a little hazy for me. I don't... I don't know enough about all of this to know, like, every little like when and where and how it has to happen, but I know that they've made these various procedural changes to the filibuster that's basically turned it into this tool of obstruction that it was never intended to be. Right. And it gets to the heart of, it's a good way to kind of close off all of the arguments that we've been making tonight. Is it really, you talk about the need for legislation to be made, and that one tool there has all but made that impossible.
Well, so
because you need a supermajority to get anything passed because it's so frequently used.
Only
now.
If they make the rules to say that it does, right? That's what you just said. Only if they say at the beginning of the session, the congressional session, that this is a rule. They can just say, we're not going to do this rule this session. We're just going to say a simple majority ends the filibuster, right?
See, and that's where I don't know exactly how it works. Like, they're obviously able to make certain procedural changes to it, but
it sounds like they can make pretty significant ones, going from a supermajority to a simple majority. That sounds like a
no. That wasn't changed. It was changing what you could filibuster. That's been changed. They basically changed the rules to say, oh, the filibuster can't be applied when appointing federal judges, and the filibuster can't be applied for Supreme Court nominations. So it is written in the law, like where the filibuster.
Is it a law or a Senate rule?
I shouldn't say anymore because I'm probably talking out of turn. It's something I'd have to look up. But I do know because I read all about this recently that that they are capable just at the start of each session. They are able to change certain aspects of like how the rules work with it. And I read that is a concrete thing that happened, is that they removed the filibuster as a tool for like appointing justices, and it is something that should go away though. Like, it just, It used to hardly ever be used, and now it's used like all the time for everything because we're just such a polarized country.
Good intention, right? But the Senate, see, I don't know if we can make a law. I'm sure we can, but the Senate would never take up that law. Like we could try to make a law, but they're not gonna allow that to go through.
Yeah.
You know, because like we could say we want this to be a law, and they're gonna be like, "Fuck you," you know, and filibuster it or something. You know, like it just would never happen. It's just politics. Both sides do it, and that's what I was saying earlier. Is it's unethical, it's shitty, but it's politics.
I don't know. That's a cop out. I don't think it's fair to say. I think if we're gonna argue these things and what's right, I don't think that's where the buck stops. I think people need to be held to a higher standard than just being able to fall back on, well, just playing politics. I think they need their feet held to the fire. I don't think that's fair.
Well, we vote them out. That's all we can do.
You know,
that's literally all.
Saying that that's politics is only because people have made politics that way. Politics could be a lot different than the way they are. Politics could be, a noble thing. God, like, ooh, what a novel concept. Public servants elected by the people, doing doing this noble thing
in a fantasy world
instead of like viciously trying to hold on to power. And
come on, man. This has been going on for thousands of years.
No, I know. But man, I'm just saying, that's when you look at the founding fathers, and especially you look at George Washington, and it's like, man, they really, I mean, like George Washington was a model for how a leader should be. He had the opportunity to basically become king, and he turned it down and said no.
Well, he didn't want to be president either.
Well, right. And I think that's, I don't know. I just think for all this talk of people wanting to do what the founding fathers intended, like maybe they should think about, the concept of power and what they're elected to do, and maybe take cues from fucking George Washington on that.
Well, even some of the founding fathers were very...
Yeah. That's why I'm honing in on George Washington specifically.
I was going to say, because John Adams and some of those guys were like, very... I mean, they were very, they butted heads a lot.
Yeah. And by the way, Rasinka, I've read everything you said, and I completely agree with you.
Oh, really?
You know I do, Rasinka.
What's that?
No, I was just saying, I haven't been replying to like any of the stuff because me and you are engaged in a conversation, and I want to stay engaged. But no, I have been reading the things you say, and I think you make very good points. I mean, obviously, you're more on the same side of the spectrum as me, so we're probably gonna kind of have a lot of the same conclusions on that. And the world is a complicated place, and
it is. But I think it's good that we can get back into healthy political banter.
Yeah. I am curious, though. I'd love to follow up after doing a little bit of research on this Supreme Court stuff, because...
I have a great book for you. I'll drop it off. I think it's pretty enlightening. I gave it to a coworker of mine who's an avid reader, and he said it's completely changed. And he said it's completely changed how he sees how the media reports on stuff, and how the judges like vote on stuff, and like what the law actually says.
Right.
And
I guess
actually it's pretty good.
I guess I'm coming from. I've read some articles for like cases against textualism and where textualism kind of falls apart. And so, I mean, I've seen some very, very compelling arguments for, and a lot of it does come down to like some of the stuff I've already said, like people, like laws just aren't there. In some cases they are really airtight and there's really only one way to interpret them. But in so many cases, they're just, it's so easy to interpret things, 3, 4, 5 different ways, because like, it's just the nature of human language. Like when we're communicating ideas to each other, it's just like how, you can read a passage in a book and one person can think it means one thing and another person an entirely different thing, because different words take on different contexts when used in different ways. And I mean, that's the part that I think is where you really got to dig down is, well, how do you ensure, like, how can things even be written to be that clear? And in some cases, they come pretty damn close.
If you want to read the book, I have it for you. I would love to get a dissenting opinion on it, because I have not had the chance to sit down and discuss, argue, banter with anyone that has taken an opposing view on the matter. So if you had a chance to skim through it, get the cliff notes, I don't fucking know, read it. It's a great book. I would love to get your dissenting opinion on it.
Okay, mayhaps. How long of a book is it?
I don't know, 200 pages. I'll see
I'm a little leery of reading a book written by a Supreme Court justice advocating for their specific point of view.
Right.
I'd like something a little more academic, like something that looks at it from, like, kind of analyzes both sides of the coin.
Take a step back. This is an incredibly academic book.
No. What I'm saying is something that weighs the merits of both approaches instead of, like,
It does. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
This is a theory of law. It's a book about the theory of law of textualism. So it is very much a book written for educated people to make educated decisions, if you will, right? It's a very thorough, very smart book. It's not here's my opinion and here's why it's important. It's here are the several different approaches of the law, and here's how we should look at both of these in the picture of law and what our job is, and here's the downsides and here's the upsides, and here's where you can fall into traps. Like it's literally a school of thought. So it's not an opinion paper. I mean, it is, but it's an opinion on here's a theory, kind of like black holes, right? Like, is it an opinion? Yeah, because it's a theory. Now we've proven it's a real fucking thing, but it's like ethics, or I don't know what else. That's the best way I can describe it. It's almost like an ethical argument book where you got to look at both sides of the coin, and this is one side of the coin. So it's not an opinion book. I will definitely say that. You got to at least get the cliff notes.
Okay.
Or maybe I'll see if I can find a good YouTube video that surmises it. So that way you don't have to read all, like I said, 200-300 pages, even though I fucking love that book. Probably one of my top 10 favorite books.
But I guess what I'm saying is it's still someone advocating for their specific approach. I guess what I'm saying is, when I look at these types of things, I want to also see the arguments against. And I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does, specify the arguments against.
He does.
Then what are they? Because I haven't heard you really give any arguments against textualism.
I'm drawing a blank right now.
Okay.
Sorry, my brain is fucking fried, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, you say that it's the end all be all, but there are arguments against it. At the end of the day, there really are.
I don't think that it's the end all be all.
Well, you said that you think it'd be better if all justices took that approach.
I do, yes.
And so, I mean, I just think that's where I would really want to examine, well, what are the arguments against it? And I know one of them is at least, some of the stuff I've already said. It's one thing it's a good idea in theory,
right? But I want to learn more about the arguments against.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to find me good videos, articles, papers. Like, if John Oliver has a good thing against it, I would love to watch it.
Well, because, I'll just say, at a basic level, I completely agree with you that if there are laws on the books, like, they're constitutional, they're consistent with other laws, and, that's where things get dicey, is like, you have laws that are passed that are inconsistent with other laws. Like, a state passes something that is technically not permissible under federal law, or a law is passed here that goes against a certain amendment of the Constitution, and that's where I think it gets really, really dicey.
Here's a good book I just found on Louisiana State Law Center. It's 154 pages. Why late Justice Scalia was wrong, the fallacies of textualism. So I will read this paper, and I'll get back to you tomorrow.
Okay, you don't have to do that.
I
mean, I have read some. I've read up on this. You know, I don't remember when or why, but I got pulled down a rabbit hole at one point. That's why I even know what the term textualism is. And like, yeah, at first reading, I think in a lot of cases there's very strong merits for it. And it's where if there's a law in the books, yes, judges should be ruling consistent with the law, no question. They should not be just saying, I don't fucking like this. I'm ruling the opposite way. That's not their job. Clearly not their job.
So I'm just reading the preamble to this paper, and it just it immediately, I'm on edge about it, but I will read it. In this one sentence, the Constitution's meaning also incorporates other consideration, including the moral, social, and political norms of contemporary society. Again, I think that literally speaks right to what Scalia was saying. Is it's not their fucking job to make those decisions. It's the legislature.
No, I think what that means is when the First Amendment and Second Amendment and all that were crafted, society worked a certain way. We had a certain set of morals and principles, and those are kind of what informed the way those laws were written and structured, right? I think that's what that means.
No, so this is like the third paragraph down. He's basically talking about laws should be interpreted based on the moral, social, and political norms of contemporary society.
Oh, right. Okay, so I had that slightly wrong. I think what that's saying is, okay, well, it's an extension to what I was saying. You know, these laws were created, but they never would have foreseen things like the internet and all of these other things. And so, at a certain point, you do kind of have to look at those laws through the lens of modern society to say, and extrapolate to say.
But that's exactly what Scalia argued for. That's what I'm saying, is he literally said those exact things. Like, we didn't foresee the internet, so we have to extrapolate out what the meaning behind the law is. But this guy is saying is that he says textualism, however, is simply wrong. The correct way to interpret the Constitution requires much more an attempt to determine the meaning of constitutional terms. The meaning also incorporates other consideration, including moral, social, political norms of contemporary society.
So they're saying the same thing, is what you're saying? He's saying the same thing that Scalia said?
No, what he's saying the very opposite of what Scalia is saying. He's saying that we should look at the big picture and how the law is going to affect the moral of society and the contemporary norms of society. When really we shouldn't. That's the legislature's fucking job.
Yeah.
All the judges should do is look
end
at
the filibuster. That all comes back to that. End the filibuster. Yeah, right. And get Mitch McConnell out.
Yeah, he's a.
I'm just saying, this is unprecedented stuff. Yeah, he's found some great strategies. Just the senators were not doing this before. It wasn't done to Bush. It wasn't done to Clinton. It wasn't done to Reagan. Like they did their job,
Get your ender chest. I'm calling it.
Okay. Actually, I'm probably gonna stay right out here because I do need to get to bed.
Okay.
It's been great.
Well, I will read this paper, even though it automatically gave me indigestion.
Yeah, I'll read up on it a little bit too. It's a good academic argument to have.
I think so, man, and I really advocate for textualism only if you look at what he's actually arguing for. I think that maybe I'm saying it wrong, or maybe there's, maybe because he's a conservative and a hardcore one at that, there's an immediate turnoff. But I think if you really read what some of the things he's saying in there, it really does make sense when you look at our, how our government is, how it should be. So that's all I'm saying.
Oh, I got it.
But I'm so glad that we don't have to put up with Sir Cheeto anymore.
Oh my god.
I think he's not going to go away. I think he's going to claim that he's the president for the next 4 years. Like, I think he's going to call like foreign dignitaries and like pretend he's the president, refusing to just give up. I have a feeling the Republican Party's going to turn on him though, because he's not going to advocate for these two people in Georgia, these two senators, because he's too big of a narcissist, and they're just going to they're going to go off on him.
Yeah. Well, I really hope that I do want the Senate to flip to Democrats. I think we need a correction period.
No.
I know it's good for the stock market to have Republicans in control, and it keeps things kind of leveled off, and minimizes the chances of drastic legislation from being passed. But I want Democrats. I want a supermajority. I want the Republicans to be thoroughly repudiated for their behavior over the last 6 years. Well, and more than anything, I just am tired of Mitch McConnell being in the face of the Senate. I really want it to be someone else. That dude's face is fucked up.
He looks like a turtle getting an erection. That's what my wife says.
When he talks, nothing on his face moves. Somehow, words come out.
He had a stroke, dude. Come on, don't be a dick.
Did he?
Yes.
Okay, well, I mean, I wouldn't know. He didn't. He doesn't look. I've seen people that have had strokes. He doesn't look like he's had a stroke, but.
Do you know his wife is Asian?
No.
Yeah.
Maybe him and Biden will. Maybe he'll be different with Biden. Maybe since
know.
they go back, they supposedly go back years. Like.
Yeah, they used to make deals together. I don't know. I think Mitch has tasted the dirty Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
But again, I still think, having lived in DC myself, I think they all give each other white elephant gifts, and they know each other's children, and they get along as friends. Because they live in their own little bubble.
Yeah, I think most of them do.
I swear to God they do. I mean, they're not mortal enemies, even though there are mortal enemies. I mean, my mother is like, I have target practice things that I shoot at of Nancy Pelosi. They fucking hate people of the opposite political party, but I think that it's we hate them more than they hate each other.
I'm not a fan of Nancy Pelosi either. Like, she's I don't know, when it's so obvious that someone is such a polarizing figure, I'm like, dude, wake the fuck up, Democrats. Like, you should know like whether she's great strategist or not.
What? Okay.
Like, put someone up there that isn't gonna like rile so many people up. Like, that alone, like changing that image alone, I think would pay huge dividends over time.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm just very shocked that you said it. But I am very happy to hear that Pete Buttigieg might be up for secretary, or the UN secretary.
Oh, dude, he's been killing it. I've watched. He keeps going viral with. Dude, I don't know what is so amazing about him, but he is the most effective person at taking down Trump, and just like so succinctly laying out with just like, and he's suave with it too, man. He's fucking like badass. I love that guy to death. I love him to death.
So that's who we voted for this election.
Okay. I'm
serious, man. If that dude got the nomination, I would have a fucking sign in my front yard.
Man, one of these days I might have to run for some kind of local office here. Like, all this talking about politics, like, I want to fucking. I just wish we had power to actually change something and turn this into a working system where shit gets done and people are brought together. And I don't know, I have this kumbaya vision, and if I ever ran, I would run as an independent.
But you got to remember, man, politics has been happening for thousands of years, and it has never changed. So to think that we're ever going to have a kumbaya moment when it comes to politics.
Well, no, that's not entirely true. I'm just saying I would encourage you to look back at certain presidencies. There has been periods of strong bipartisanship. And I'll tell you what changed it all. It was the religious right hijacking Republicans. The Republicans were not aligned with the religious right until the 1980s. It happened midway through Reagan's presidency, and that's, I think, really
happy to hear that we're more and more declining in the people who claim to be religious in this country.
Yeah, that shit really needs to go. I mean, I'm sorry for any folks that are religious, but
dude, I'm not. I told my mom I told my mom, I was like, yeah, we should just end society and start over, except this time without religion. She lost her fucking shit. Like she.
Yeah.
Oh
I mean,
man.
even, if you really study the Bible and the teachings of Jesus Christ, even fucking Jesus would agree with that.
Oh yeah.
Like religion, we were never supposed to have these big institutions,
Well, you do know
oppressing
Jesus
people.
would have been for the Second Amendment, right? No, I'm serious. Like he would have been
Maybe.
like, do you know what his
Sure.
gun of choice probably would have been?
An AK-47.
No, the nail gun.
And
Come on, that's a
on
good
that
joke, man.
note, I think I'm done. This is a great note to end the night on.
Was that the nail on the cross?
Yes, it was.
Well,
Right.
it's been fun.
Yeah. Sorry,
talking to
Rasinka.
you.
I
What,
hope.
she pissed at you?
No.
She's probably tired of our banter.
Yeah. I don't even know if Rasinka's still out there, but just know that I saw everything you said and I agree with it, Rasinka, and I hope you feel like, I made some points you would agree with.
Rasinka, if you're out there, I didn't read the posts because I was not in Twitch. I probably would have disagreed with all of them, but I still love you and miss you.
All right, I'm done. Good night.
All right, later, man.
Later.